Rated M for mature. In Xfinity Rewards, perk. Xfinity customers, sign up for Xfinity Rewards and get a code for early access to the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Open Beta. Early access begins on August 30th. Available on all platforms. Visit Xfinity.com/rewards.
With so much entertainment out there, wouldn't it be great if you could find what you want all in one place?
Show me Paris. Xfinity Internet customers can enjoy the ultimate entertainment experience and save on some of the biggest names in streaming, all for just $15 a month. Get the fastest connection to Paris with Xfinity.
You're watching Modelo Kickoff Week.
Welcome to the All-State Saturday Kickoff. On the banks of the confluence in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a highly anticipated opener for two programs trying to rebound from disappointing seasons a year ago. It's the Pitt Panthers out of the ACC taking on the Kent State Golden Flashes from the MAC, from Acrisure Stadium in downtown Pittsburgh. A lot of buzz around these parts, especially for this Pitt offense, which will look totally different under first-year head coach Cade Bell. But certainly some questions to be answered, particularly after we learned last night that the leading returning rusher from a season ago, Rodney Hammond, is out for the year due to eligibility issues. They will now start a redshirt freshman at quarterback. And as we welcome in Dustin Fox, Dustin, you've got a redshirt freshman quarterback. You've got your leading returning rusher not coming back. Where did the Pitt Panthers go from here offensively?
Well, as I slid in, just like I slid in, they're going to slide in their top running back now, Desmond Reed, who comes over from Western Carolina. Of course, Cade Bell comes from Western Carolina as well. This guy is as dynamic as you're going to find probably in the entire ACC. The only thing I would say is he's only 5'8", 175. Can he hold up?
Well, this is why everyone is so excited about the new look offense here in Pittsburgh. Look at the numbers at the bottom of the screen, what Cade Bell did as the OC at Western Carolina last year.
Listen, this guy is a rising star in this business. There's a reason why he's here. Those numbers at the FCS level, they're hoping translate here to Pittsburgh.
Running his offense, making his first collegiate start today is Eli Holstein, the transfer from Alabama.
Yeah, Eli is going to obviously be under a little bit of pressure today, some nerves, I'm sure. They do say he's a little calm and cool, so we'll find out here early on in the ball game. This guy was a top recruit coming out of high school.
And on the other side, the second year for head coach Kenny Burns. His team 1-11 last year as the youngest FBS football program in America. They return 9 starters on offense. They feel deeper, more talented, and grittier going into 2024. And Kent State won the toss, elected to defer, which means the Pitt Panthers will receive to start the 2024 campaign at Acrisure Stadium. Andrew Glass, the 2-time All-MAC place kicker, will kick it off for Kent State. And he sends it deep to Kenny Johnson, who was terrific on special teams last year. Johnson across the 20, and he's brought down to the 25, but a flag on the play.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 12, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Pitt.
Our referee today is Tim Hedgepeth. Pat Narduzzi in his 10th season, his team coming off their worst record since 1998. The offense has been totally revamped. Very excited about what we can expect from Cade Bell and, of course, his first-year quarterback, Eli Holstein.
I think everybody here in Pittsburgh is excited to see Eli and what he brings to the table. He's very athletic for his size, so he can take off and go, and certainly he's got a heck of an arm.
And first pass of 2024 is caught by Kenny Johnson. One of the differences that the Pitt fans are going to see with this offense is the tempo. They want to snap it no later than every 15 seconds in between plays, and they go to the ground to the Western Carolina transfer Desmond Reed for a pickup of 4.
Yeah, much different than you saw a season ago with Pittsburgh. Very methodical, couldn't get drives going, they would stall. This should be completely different than what people are used to here in Pittsburgh.
On 3rd and 1, Holstein is complete to Gavin Bartholomew for a first down. Well, to your point, last year they were one of 6 FBS programs that ran less than 60 plays per game. We expect a whole different animal this year under Cade Bell.
Well, not only that, I mean, we talked with Coach Cade Bell this week. He says Eli could throw the ball 40 times a game. And there's another one.
Oh, and what a grab over the middle by Poppy Williams, the transfer from San Diego State, and it's a 14-yard pickup and a first down.
Boy, Poppy Williams is a fun guy to watch. You see him sit down right over the middle, and what a throw that is by Eli Holstein.
Oh, and met in the backfield is Reed, spins out of trouble. Reed breaking tackles across the 40. And that is why he was a Walter Payton Award watch list recipient a season ago at Western Carolina.
Does such a great job. That should have been a tackle for loss in the backfield, and somehow he just squirts out of that and picks up about 6 yards.
Met by Stephen Daly right as he received the handoff. Here's Kanate Mumpfield shaking loose. This Pitt offense is looking pretty good for their first game of the season.
And I really like the way they're sort of spreading things out, Matt. They're keeping Kent on their heels. And listen, it's hot down there on the field. They want to make these guys defensively run sideline to sideline and test them early.
Well, as we mentioned in the open, no Rodney Hammond, the leading rusher from a season ago. And we expected to see a heavy dose of both Desmond Reed and Rodney Hammond. Now it's Reed's show.
Absolutely. Expect to see this guy maybe carry the ball 25 times. He can catch it out of the backfield as well.
Holstein, deep shot for Kenny Johnson, and it's caught at the goal line. Oh, what a play. 46 yards.
And really no time for a replay because they're going to hustle up to the line of scrimmage as fast as possible. What a throw by Holstein, and terrific concentration by Johnson, just the sophomore, with the Willie Mays catch over the shoulder.
Going quickly, it's Holstein. But there is a flag on the play.
Offense number 87, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, you're going to get the second tight end there, Jake Overman. Boy, that's a devastating penalty. You know, you've got the ball inside the 10-yard line and an easy touchdown. Watch 87 on your right side of the screen. Yeah. Not a lot.
That's the Oregon State transfer, Jake Overman. So it backs him up to the 10-yard line. And first and goal for Eli Holstein. Looking left into the end zone, and it's Mumpfield for a touchdown. And Eli Holstein's first college start. A drive straight down the field for a touchdown.
Boy, Matt, I don't know if there could be a more perfect start for a quarterback making his first career start than what Eli Holstein just did on that drive. Just tremendous. 10 yards of play. I mean, talk about efficient. They go 9
in
plays.
3 minutes.
Oh.
Something we did not see at all last year.
And they were backed up too. Remember the call on the kickoff sort of backed them to start the drive, and then they go right down the field. Let's go back to the long throw and catch from Holstein to Johnson. And you can see that Johnson is going against Muhammad on the outside and just shows off that speed to get beyond him And honestly, it's more than the speed because the ball has to be placed perfectly between the defender and the sideline. He drops it in the bucket, and great concentration there by Kenny Johnson.
Remember, there was a hot quarterback battle throughout fall camp. Nate Yarnell, the returner, the most experienced quarterback on this roster. It was thought coming out of spring that he would be the starter for week 1. But Eli Holstein made great strides over the summer. It makes sense why they went with the redshirt freshman after seeing that opening drive.
Listen, if Pat Narduzzi and, of course, Cade Bell are seeing this in practice every single day, yeah, there's a reason why he's out there getting the nod for this ball game. I do expect at some point that we will see Nate Yarnell in the ball game because he's a heck of a football player too, but you couldn't script a better opening drive.
Ben Sauls kicks it to the 5, and it is fair caught by Luke Florio. MAC all-third team selection a year ago. So how does Kent State respond under first-year offensive coordinator and first-year starting quarterback Devin Cargman, who over the last couple of years has made some spot starts but has never before been QB1.
Yeah, Cargman comes in here. By the way, I think I sense a theme with quarterbacks, new quarterbacks coming in, first career starts. Got a couple of these here today. You know, a lot of people thought Ulatowski'd have a leg up on that job, but Cargman has done a terrific job in training camp.
Goes to Kai Thomas, who is wrapped up by Jimmy Scott after a gain of 1 on the play. Watch out for Kai Thomas, a 3-down back, and we expect to see him get 20 to 25 touches a game, according to Mark Carney, the first-year offensive coordinator.
And I'm guessing he's probably chomping at the bit because this guy hasn't played football since 2022. A big-time power 4 type running back. Well, he is a power 4 running back. He played at Kansas before transferring to Pitt.
Play action. This one is dumped in front of the intended receiver, Luke Florio. And it brings up 3rd and 9.
And that one just looked like a little bit of nerves. Trying to find Florio in the flat there. That's an easy throw that I think just kind of got away from Cargman. So now a big 3rd down early in the game. A terrific drive by Pitt. And now a potential 3 and out here if their defense can hold up in a big spot. You see Kent State last year not great in the Mid-American Conference.
Cargman caught, coming back to the football by Krishan McCray, but short of the sticks.
I just don't know that I get that. I mean, you've got a comeback route that is short of the sticks. Hey, you complete it, but you're still about 3 yards shy and going to have to punt it away. And again, momentum early in the ball game, all on the Panthers side.
Well, and for Kenny Burns, as we talked about, his team last year was the youngest in FBS. He had many freshmen, both on offense and defense, starting. Many of them are back this year. But it's going to take some getting used to. 6 new coaches, including the offensive coordinator, and of course, a new QB1. Oh! Reed spinning out of 2 tackles. Now he's got some space. Desmond Reed. There he goes. Inside the 40. Reed will take it to the house. First touchdown in a Pitt Panther uniform. Goes 79 yards for Desmond Reed.
Matt, we talked about this in the open in terms of who's going to replace Rodney Hammond Jr. at running back, and we talked about Desmond Reed and how explosive he is. Wow. You saw a couple of plays on offense, and now in special teams. What a difference that is for this offense, and certainly the special teams, to have an explosive playmaker like Reed. That play should have been blown up. I mean, a missed tackle by Muhammad, and then all of a sudden, Desmond Reed is out the gates. Convoy down the sidelines, taking this thing to the house. Boy, all Pitt early, 14-0 from the Steel City.
Craig here pays too much for Verizon Wireless, so he sublet half his real estate office to a pet shop. Meg's moving company uses T-Mobile, so she scaled down her fleet to save money. And Don's paying so much for AT&T, he's been waiting to update his equipment. There's a smarter way to save. Comcast Business Mobile. You could save up to an incredible 70% on your wireless bill, so you don't have to compromise. Powering smarter savings, powering possibilities.
There is no patent. Could you patent the sun?
You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Beautiful day in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and what a start for the Pitt Panthers. 14-zip up on Kent State. And now for our Fansville. Oh, we're going to tell you about the Fansville Dr. Pepper, what's new after the kick. Here it is from Ben Sauls. He has been busy to start after 2 quick touchdowns by the Pitt Panthers. And now for our Fansville college football update, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. What's new this season? What isn't new?
Yeah, pretty much everything. This should be the best season of college football we've seen, certainly in my lifetime, probably most people's lifetimes. 12-team playoff, that's been coming for a while. Only Power 4, right? Had a Power 5 last year. Just tons of conference realignment. And by the way, don't call it a 2-minute warning. It's a 2-minute timeout. And I think the cool thing that they have this year, and they should have had this long ago as technology is there, is the direct communication from coaches to a player, designated player on each team.
For Kent State and for many offenses around the country, it is the quarterback wearing the green dot. Cargman quickly out. It's Luke Floria, who is brought down by Philip O'Brien Jr. And a flag at the end of the play.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 5. That 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Yeah, O'Brien here at the end of the tackle. It was hard to tell if he had a horse collar going, but he had the front of the face mask there, and really that's a penalty that is costly for the Pitt defense. Is now Kent State couldn't do anything on their opening drive, now have really nice field position here to sort of start this second drive.
At midfield for the team that was ranked last in the FBS a season ago in scoring, averaging just 14.7 points per game. And first-year offensive coordinator Mark Carney told us they expect to flip the script on that with so many returning starters from a year ago. Cargman, the handoff, and immediately met in the backfield by Sincere Edwards, the freshman from Orlando, Florida.
Boy, Edwards comes out of nowhere to make this tackle. A lot of patience by number 90. You'll see coming to your screen here, Sincere Edwards. He has just an awesome motor. They've been raving about him throughout fall camp. Really an early impact felt by the freshman.
And remember, this is a defensive line that replaces Deion Hayes, DeAndre Jules, Sam Okunlola. It is a new defensive front, particularly in the front 7, but they have looked good early against Kent State. Swing pass out to Thomas, makes a man miss across the 50 and lowering the shoulder against Ryland Gandy. And a pickup of 7.
There's Kai Thomas. That's the Kai Thomas you saw at Kansas. Breaks the tackle right there, and then watch him lower the boom on Gandy, number 10. That's just a way to finish a run. Now here you go, 3rd and about 3. Definitely 4-down territory, I think.
Back to Thomas. They won't need 4 downs. Barreling ahead for a first down for Kent State.
Back-to-back runs here by Kai Thomas. The last one a run after catch. Now on a huge 3rd and 3. Really is not touched. You can see the burst and vision through the line of scrimmage. And again, falling forward for extra yardage, that's what you want to see. And this is a nice little response, I think, by the Kent State offense.
A breather for Thomas. They bring in Curtis Douglas, the sophomore from Lake Worth, Florida. And they swing it to him, and it goes off his hands and behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, that was,
but it was a forward
close.
pass.
Yeah, it was awfully close, Matty.
And incomplete. It was Kyle Lewis getting after the quarterback, Devin Cargman.
You know, they're trying, it appears, to try and get the ball on the edges on the perimeter. But you can also see that the Pitt defense, they can fly, and so they're running around like, you know, a bunch of hornets swarming, and it's creating a problem for Cargman.
Low snap, the handoff, and again stuffed in the backfield. It was a combination of Jimmy Scott and Nakai Johnson.
Well, this is Johnson, number 4. He beats a double team inside, and then just somehow the ball carrier is right in his lap.
Jimmy Scott is a guy who defensive coordinator Randy Bates said can be special, a top 5 recruit out of the state of New York, and you just saw it there on that loss of 2. And a flag comes in, movement on both sides.
Offside, causing the offense to react. Defense number 44, 5-yard penalty. It's still third down.
Yeah, they were clearly in the neutral zone. That's going to be Jimmy Scott, 44.
And that's a point of emphasis this year, eliminating that simulated movement at the snap to draw the other team either offside or to simulate what would lead to a false start. And so it's 3rd and 7 now for Kent State from the 35. Kai Thomas, the motion man. Cargman with time, and it is broken up. That time by Keith Thompson, the Ohio transfer.
What Cargman just misses. I don't even think he was looking in the direction of Krishan McCray, number 2, because he's running a skinny post. You can see it right on the hash marks. The safety jumps inside. He's wide open down the numbers. Tough to see for Cargman clearly there, but I think that's a missed opportunity.
You agree? 4th and 7 going for it?
1,000%. 1,000%. You have to. You're in that kind of gray area. I'm not bringing the kicker out in this situation. You need touchdowns.
Cargman over the middle and caught for a touchdown. Luke Floria takes it to the house, and right back in it come the Golden Flashes.
Well, I would say this much. I think somebody on Kent State's sideline saw what I saw in the previous play where that skinny post was open, and then they sort of come back on the opposite side with Floria. You know, they play a lot of quarters here at Pittsburgh. That's their base defense. Well, that is a quarters beater right there. And Luke Floria is saying silence the crowd a little bit there. I'd maybe wait until a little bit later, but nonetheless, it did momentarily in a really nice response by the Golden Flashes.
Felt like a had-to-have-it touchdown for Kent State.
No doubt. You're up against it. 4th and 7. Cargman delivers to Luke Floria for the house call. Kent State, are they back in it? We'll find out. 14-7 for Pittsburgh.
This is the ACC, where greatness isn't just a goal, it's our relentless pursuit.
Well, there you go.
Where elite coaches and preeminent players constantly strive to redefine what's possible. Here, greatness knows no limits. Here, achievements speak louder than words, and legacies are cemented. This is the ACC, accomplished greatness.
Craig here pays too much for Verizon Wireless, so he sublet half his real estate office to a pet shop. Meg's moving company uses T-Mobile, so she scaled down her fleet to save money. And Don's paying so much for AT&T, he's been waiting to update his equipment. There's a smarter way to save. Comcast Business Mobile. You can save up to an incredible 70% on your wireless bill, so you don't have to compromise. Powering smarter savings, powering possibilities.
The All-State Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. And McDonald's.
Could we see another MAC upset of a Power 4 team? We had a handful of them last year. Miami defeating Cincinnati in overtime in Cincy. And then Bowling Green taking down Georgia Tech. What do they say, Dustin Fox?
They fly the flag. They got the skull and crossbone flag that they proudly put up when a MAC school beats a Power 4 now conference opponent, and they have been giant killers in the past. Let's see if Kent State can get their first FBS win under Kenny Burns.
Lone win last year was against Central Connecticut of the FCS. Back to receive, Pitt's Kenny Johnson. Making one-man miss. Johnson out to the 30, and Pitt's special teams have looked really good to start against Kent State.
Yeah, they've done a nice job. Even the opening kickoff that got called back because of a hold was a nice return. But there you see Kenny Johnson. This guy could be special too. And just a sophomore, had the great catch on the opening drive. And he's a tough kid.
Second drive now for Eli Holstein. First drive went 9 plays, 90 yards in 3 minutes for a touchdown. Here's Derek Davis across the 40 and dragged down at the 50, but a flag is back by the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense number 86. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And that negates a 21-yard run by Derek Davis.
And that's Bartholomew, who is their starting tight end, but now 2 holding penalties on Bartholomew and Overman on that other touchdown run. But you can see 86 on the left side. Thoughts are it was a little extra, I think.
That is the 5th penalty.
Yeah, well, that's only the only negative they've had.
So 1st and 18. Derek Davis remains in the backfield. Quick throw goes out to Bartholomew, and he's going to try to pick up all of what they lost with the holding penalty.
Well, there it is, Matt. We talked with Cade Bell, the offensive coordinator at Pitt, yesterday. He said the best attribute about Bartholomew is his run after the catch ability. You saw it right there. Just a quick now pass, get him in space.
Only had 18 catches last year. Cade Bell said expect at least double that in 2024. And there is Poppy Williams again, arguably the best route runner in America.
According to Cade Bell and other folks on this staff, and this guy is really special as well. Not the biggest guy, about 165 pounds soaking wet, but an excellent route runner on the outside.
Back to Davis, showing some great patience for a young man that is playing running back exclusively for really the first time since high school.
For an injury.
And he is slow to get up. So Derek Davis will be tended to by the Pitt training staff. We will return in Pittsburgh after this. Welcome back to the All-State Saturday Kickoff. This is Modelo Week. And good to see number 34 get up under his own power. Derek Davis, after an apparent injury, standing next to Rodney Hammond, wearing number 6 without pads and a helmet. Hammond, of course, the leading rusher last year for Pitt. Yesterday, we found out he's ruled ineligible for the entire 2024 season. Holstein is taken down in the backfield. And that's a big-time sack by Naeem Muhammad. Loss of 11 on the play.
Now, they were trying to find a way to get Gavin Bartholomew the ball on a wheel route on the outside. But a really nice job by Caleb Johns, number 8. He stays with Bartholomew and allows the pressure to get home. And that is a much-needed defensive sack to put them behind the sticks for the first time today.
3rd and 17. On play action, Holstein flushed out and taken down again. Cameron Olds, the Buffalo transfer, in there to bring up 4th down.
Cameron Olds, number 11, just does a terrific job never giving up on this play, coming off the right side and just continues to fight, gets back upfield as Holstein steps up in the pocket, nowhere to go, and back-to-back sacks for this Kent State defense. Just a tremendous way to respond, both by their offense and now by their defense.
An end-over-end wobbling punt by Caleb Junko bounces out around the 26-yard line. Well, our Labor Day weekend on ESPN and ABC lineup rolls on today with a Sunshine State rivalry game, 3:30 Eastern, number 19 Miami and Florida. Then the nightcap, number 7 Notre Dame in College Station taking on Texas A&M. And tomorrow night, USC squares off against LSU in Vegas. And on Monday, if you haven't had enough college football yet, stay tuned for BC and Florida State looking for a bounce back after a loss in Ireland against Georgia Tech week 0.
And that'll be a good one. Florida State, can they bounce back?
Devin Karjman unloads on 1st down and well covered that time by Taman Lynham, the transfer from Nebraska.
Yeah, Lynham does a good job. It's man coverage. He grabs a little jersey, but nonetheless, the ball thrown out in front, and I think that Lynham does a good job getting that hand and sort of gets away with the contact. But I like the idea. You're trying to get the football in the hands of your 2 playmakers on the outside, Flory, and that's McCray. Those guys are dudes, and they can go.
McCray, the leading wide receiver last year, first team All-MAC. Handoff goes nowhere as the Pitt front was in the backfield. Brandon George and Kyle Lewis. And again, Kent State behind the sticks on 3rd down.
I just don't know that attacking the interior of this defensive front is the right idea or the smartest approach right now. I think there are matchups to be had on the outside, and now 3rd and 11 here, you're forcing Karjman to put the football in the air again. And I'm guessing that Pitt, it looks like they're going to bring a lot of pressure. They're up at the line of scrimmage.
Trips to the near side. It's a handoff going the opposite way, and Kai Thomas is dragged down by Nakai Johnson after a gain of 3.
Boy, sort of an interesting call on 3rd and 11. Kind of a conservative approach by Kenny Burns and his staff.
Well, Kenny Burns has been part of MAC success before. Remember, he's a disciple of P.J. Fleck, was his assistant in 2016 at Western Michigan when they went 13-1 and qualified for the MAC's last New Year's Six Bowl.
Cotton Bowl.
Back in 2016, and they beat some P4s.
Nearly beat Wisconsin to go undefeated in the Cotton Bowl.
Desmond Reed will let that trickle down to the 20-yard line. That is where Eli Holstein will lead the 3rd drive of the game. Well, Pitt is trying to return to national prominence. Remember, back in 2021, they won the ACC championship game, their first outright ACC conference title. They followed it up the next year with a 9-win season, taking down UCLA in the Sun Bowl, and then things went awry last year. Worst record in the Pat Narduzzi era, going 3-9. They made a lot of changes, most notably offensive coordinator Cade Bell, and they have looked pretty good so far in the 1st quarter. That ball was tapped away as Holstein was knocked down in the backfield.
Well, I think everything has looked good for this offense in the 1st quarter except that play. Right on cue. But no, I think that Holstein has lived up to the billing to this point. Obviously very early in the game, but the first opening, the opening drive of the ball game was just absolutely tremendous by Eli Holstein.
He went 8 for 9 with 106 yards so far in this game and a touchdown. Holstein pulls it down and dragged down at the 25. And that'll bring up 3rd down and long for this Pitt offense.
You can see some of that escapability by Eli Holstein there to step up in the pocket, picks up some yardage. Gives him a little bit of a more manageable 3rd and 6. I'd say this much, though, that Holstein's got to be careful holding the football as he steps up in the pocket. You got to tuck it if you're going to run the football. I mean, he could have easily fumbled as Carroll was bearing down on him.
Holstein lets it fly. Kenny Johnson holds it in midfield, and a first down for the Panthers.
Such a beautiful throw. You've got a cover 2 shell on the outside by Kent State, and they just run a smash 7. And what that means is the inside receiver is going to run that corner route, and he sits down in that zone, and it really has to be a perfect throw, and that's exactly what Holstein did.
Holstein quickly out to Williams for a pickup of 3. And now Kenny Johnson in the first quarter has receptions of 46 and 24 yards.
I'd say that's pretty impressive. And for a guy who's got pretty good size, the thing that he's really good at is those 50-50 balls. And I've seen it already. I mean, even that little corner route previously there, that's a tough catch. I mean, really excellent throw, but between 2 defenders to be able to have that concentration, I really like that ability there by Kenny Johnson.
Preseason 3rd team All ACC. Perhaps the final play of the first quarter. A handoff to Desmond Reed, who is just so shifty. Making a couple of men miss for a 4-yard gain.
And you can definitely see that shiftiness you talked about there with Desmond Reed.
They sneak one more play in. It's Reed sidestepping a tackler. There goes Reed down the sideline. And he brings it inside the 15. How about that to close the first quarter in Pittsburgh?
Matt, I'm not so sure that didn't just catch the Kent State defense off guard. I think they thought it was just going to go to quarter, and a great run to cap off the first quarter by Desmond Reed in this Pitt offense. 14-7 from Pitt.
This is the ACC, where greatness isn't just a goal, it's our relentless pursuit.
Well, there you go.
Where elite coaches and preeminent players constantly strive to redefine what's possible. Here, greatness knows no limits. Here, achievements speak louder than words, and legacies are cemented. This is the ACC, accomplished greatness.
With Amex Platinum, access to the card member entrance at select events and venues means you never miss a moment.
Are you kidding me?
That's the powerful backing of American Express.
Formula One at its absolute finest. This is Formula One.
Back in Pittsburgh, where it's 14-7, Panthers over Kent State. And the news of the day was that Rodney Hammond was going to be out, and how are they going to respond? Well, Desmond Reed, who is the transfer from Western Carolina, has shown up in a big way. Huge punt return, and is getting it done on the ground as well.
Here he is again, making men miss. And a pickup of 3. Reed now with nearly 50 yards on the ground. Plus he had that 78-yard punt return for a touchdown. And remember, this is a guy who came over with Cade Bell from Western Carolina. Could have been the Walter Payton Award winner, which is essentially the Heisman at the FCS level, but he missed 4 games. In spite of all of that, he was still second in the Southern Conference in rushing. A special talent.
There's no doubt. I mean, he could have probably gone anywhere in the country, decides to follow his coach, Cade Bell.
Oh! Holstein just misses out on a touchdown. Dropped by Kanate Mumfield in the end zone.
That's a rare drop by Mumfield. He's wide open. Just got to catch that, and all of a sudden, this game would be blown open there. And he's a heck of a player, senior captain on this offense.
Quickly out on 3rd and 7. Reed bobbling, corrals, and cannot outrun the defender. It was Stephen Daly tracking him down. And that brings up 4th and 4.
Decision time for Pitt.
You go for it?
I personally would not in this situation.
Officials timeout for a helmet on the defense. Set the play clock to 40 seconds. Thank you.
I think it's important you get points here. You make it a 2-score game early, but they have other plans.
Cade Beatty comes in for Stephen Daly, who has to go out with the helmet issue. 4th and 5 for Holstein. Dumps it back to Reed. Has to make 2 men miss. And cannot. Is blown up at the 20 by Caleb Johns. What a stop for the Golden Flashes.
This is just a great job by the Kent State defense. They keep everything in front of them. Try to get the ball out of the backfield, and then it's just a bunch of white jerseys. And then Caleb Johns, number 8, finishes it off. Huge stop by the Flashes.
Going to that last commercial break, Pat Narduzzi was very upset, and you're going to see why in a second. He thought it should have been targeting on Caleb Johns with the hit laid down on Desmond Reed. He certainly lunged with the head, hit him with the button of the helmet. What do you think?
By the replays we've seen, I think this is going to be a targeting call. I don't want to, obviously we don't want to speculate, but to me that there's an indicator. That crown of the helmet comes in, and I feel like that is exactly what they show us at the seminar when we break down these plays and sort of say what's targeting, what's not. I think that is probably going to be a flag. And if it is, it's unfortunate for Kent State because Caleb Johns is arguably one of their best players defensively.
And it was 4th and 5.
So they'd have 1st and goal.
So instead of Kent State getting the football back, you lose Caleb Johns, you give Pitt 1st and goal, and it changes the dynamic of the game. Pitt's offense is headed onto the field. We are going to hear from our lead official.
After further review, it's been determined there was a personal foul targeting with the crown of the helmet, defense number 8. The penalty is enforced half this distance to the goal. Number 8 is disqualified.
Yeah, that is a big loss because Caleb Johns is, like you said, one of the leaders of this defense, and you can see the frustration on his face as he's very, very upset.
Well, Dustin, he's been limited to 9 games the last 2 years due to injuries. This was supposed to be a real rebound game for him, week 1, and he is distraught on the sideline as Pitt comes out with Derek Davis in the backfield. And 1st and goal for the Panthers. A chance to put an exclamation point on a drive that seemed like it had stalled.
Well, the Kent State defense has played, I think, really well outside of a couple explosive plays. They're getting to the quarterback. Caleb Johns has been in on numerous plays today. So like I said, that is a very, very big loss for Kent State.
And now Mason Woods, the FCS transfer, comes in to replace him. Deep shot looking for Mumpfield in the end zone. And it's out of his reach, incomplete.
Oh, last time they got around this area of the field, you saw Eli Holstein carried himself and take it in for the touchdown. It got called back, however, but maybe here's an opportunity if you do decide, hey, quarterback run's maybe an option here. We can dial something up and let Eli carry the ball.
Mumpfield in motion to Davis and wrapped up short of the goal line for a gain of 2. Kaden Williams making his first collegiate start, transferring over from Bowling Green, in on the tackle.
Now you see the shift by the Pitt offense in tempo, which has Kent State confused, and a timeout comes in.
Charge timeout. Kent State, their first of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
I think it's a good timeout here. 3rd and goal. You have a chance to stop them again after you had them stopped on 4th and 5 just a couple of minutes ago.
Matt, it's a no-brainer. You could see that your defense was a little bit confused. They're all shifting over from the left side to the right side. And if I'm Kenny Burns in his situation, I'm immediately calling timeout because this is such a crucial down for the Kent State defense to potentially get off the field again. And this time I wonder if they're able to get a stop on third down, what would Pitt do if it's 4th and goal?
It's a Kent State defense that returned just 3 starters in 2023. They bring 6 back this year after learning a new system last year under first-year head coach Kenny Burns. They have been up to the task after going down 14-0 early here in Pittsburgh. 3rd and goal for the Panthers. To Davis on the ground, pushing the pile. No sign. Now it's a touchdown for Derek Davis, the hometown kid.
It's got to feel good for Derek Davis Jr. to find the end zone. Playing a lot of college football, the transfer from LSU. Just 2 carries last season for 8 yards in the 8 games that he played. And now an opportunity, Matt, for him to step in and replace Rodney Hammond Jr. this season, who, if you missed the start of the show, has been ruled ineligible for the rest of the season. So an opportunity for Derek Davis to step up, and right there he does, getting his first touchdown.
Beyond that, this is a young man from Gateway High School right here in Pittsburgh. When he left high school in 2021, he was the #1 safety recruit in the country, according to the ESPN Top 300. He goes to LSU to play safety. In 2022, his 2nd season, LSU has a plethora of injuries in the running back room. He says, "Coach, I can do it." Goes and plays running back, transfers here, and to your point, Dustin, now has a real opportunity with Rodney Hammond out for the season.
You know, I remember back when I played high school football, I was a safety as well, also played tailback, so kind of could do both, right? But for him, he goes to college, you talked about it, as a safety. This guy in high school, Matt, 77 touchdowns. So he's not a stranger to finding the end zone.
5A Player of the Year in Pennsylvania, and gives his team a 2-touchdown lead with 13:10 to go in the first half. And how big was that penalty on Caleb Johns?
Devastating. But it's not one that you look back and you say, oh man, it's a tough, aggressive call. Obviously he'd like to have it back, but really the bigger loss, I should say, for the game is that you lose Caleb Johns for the remainder of the game.
Well, this season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. So now, how do the Golden Flashes and Devin Cardman respond in his 3rd career start? Has led 1 touchdown drive so far this afternoon. Cardman is hit in the backfield. What a play by this Pitt Panthers defense and Rasheem Biles.
What an opportunity for Biles, who's been mostly a special teams guy, comes right in on the blitz through that right B gap. Probably didn't think he was going to come scot-free, but he does, and he makes the sack.
Biles, an excellent special teamer last year, blocked 3 punts, now getting his chance to start and play significant snaps in his 2nd season at Pitt. This one goes to the ground. Kai Thomas trying to spin out of trouble. Maybe gets 3.5 on the play. And here comes the rain at Acrisure Stadium. Fans are heading for cover.
Well, we knew it was coming. We didn't know exactly what time. Thought it may hold off maybe until 3 o'clock in the second half. But this is not ideal conditions on a 3rd and long for Kent State, as the student section right behind them getting a little bit loud on 3rd and about 15.
Nothing doing for Kai Thomas, stacked up by a number of Pitt Panthers. 4th down.
I thought Biles made another nice play there, 31, as really every defender, it seems like, in a blue jersey is just swarming to the football with an attitude.
And Rasheem Biles, remember, led the nation last year with 3 blocked punts. He is on the punt return unit here. Desmond Reed has already taken one to the house. We'll watch this flutter out of bounds. But good field position for Eli Holstein and the Pitt Panther offense that has driven down the field twice for touchdowns in the first half.
This is the ACC, where greatness isn't just a goal, it's our relentless pursuit.
Well, there you go.
Where elite coaches and preeminent players constantly strive to redefine what's possible. Here, greatness knows no limits. Here, achievements speak louder than words, and legacies are cemented. This is the ACC, accomplished greatness.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's not a life policy. It's more than that. It's a plan you're putting in motion today to help protect their tomorrow.
This is Formula One!
The Allstate Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Jeep. There's only one.
A little rain never hurt anybody here at Acrisure Stadium. Maybe some of the general admission ticket fans have headed for the exits, or at least some cover, but not the student section. Dustin Fox.
No, they are going to be out here until this thing hits all zeros. They are locked in for this Pittsburgh season. They're excited about what's to come. I guarantee you they are excited about the way this offense has looked in the early portion of this game.
They averaged 20 points per game last year. That was last in the ACC. Already 21 was still 10 minutes and change in the first half. And that is a tackle for loss by Stephen Daly, who has been excellent for Kent State in the first half. And remember, Kent State is without Caleb Johns. Was ejected from the game for targeting on 4th and 5 after a tackle that would have stopped Pitt from scoring the 3rd touchdown of the first half. Holstein with all kinds of time checks it down underneath to Daniel Carter, who is another running back that we may see more of this year without Rodney Hammond. 3rd and 10 for Pitt. Holstein under duress, tucks it, and has a first down. And that is what his dad, Scott Holstein, told us to look out for when we ran into him at dinner last night. Dustin Fox, he said, my kid's got some wheels.
No, he definitely does. I mean, he's not a 4.3 guy, but he's not a 5 flat guy. He's somewhere in between, probably more around a 4.7, but he's got just enough wheels to go get outside the pocket, and go pick up a first down just like that. Free play
for Holstein. He's going to take a shot to Mumfield, making a diving catch at the sticks for a first down.
I think that was pretty good awareness by Eli Holstein to recognize, hey, the flag's thrown. They didn't call it dead.
Defense. The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
Yeah, this is going to be Zaid Hamden, who's offsides, but you can see, I don't know that Mumfield was exactly ready for the ball to come, but he showed like pretty good awareness. All of a sudden it's there, good hand-eye coordination. Okay, I'll take this.
Well, you said it earlier. His specialty is the 50-50 balls. Made that one look easy. Handoff goes to Daniel Carter, following blockers, and a pickup of 5. Saw a lot of Desmond Reed early, the Western Carolina transfer, and have seen more of Carter and Davis, who will rotate behind him. Carter again, first down and more. Carter spinning to the 10. And another Pitt first down.
Man, I got to show some love to the big fellas up front, especially Lyndon Cooper, their center, who is absolutely nasty. And you can see Daniel Carter and company running right behind the middle of this offensive line as they continue to push and grind inside the 10-yard line.
Under new offensive line coach Jeremy Darveau, this offensive line unit feels like they are in much better shape than they were last year. They returned a combined 58 starts. And of course, Lyndon Cooper, coming over from NC State, won that starting center job handily. Empty set for Holstein. Goes to the end zone and connects for a touchdown with Poppy Williams. How about this for your first collegiate start? Eli Holstein leading 3 touchdown drives in the first half.
I don't know if Holstein could be any more perfect than he has been in the first half of this game. And oh, by the way, there's still 7 minutes and change to go for the Panthers.
Ben Sauls puts it through the uprights, 28-7 Pitt.
Eli Holstein having himself an absolutely monster day. 14-17, 152, a couple of tutties. That one pretty easy. Heck of a throw, wide open, as this game's wide open. 28-7.
Rated M for mature. In Xfinity Rewards perk. Xfinity customers, sign up for Xfinity Rewards and get a code for early access to the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Open Beta. Early access begins on August 30th. Available on all platforms. Visit Xfinity.com/rewards.
This is the ACC, where greatness isn't just a goal. It's our relentless pursuit.
Well, there you go.
Where elite coaches and preeminent players constantly strive to redefine what's possible. Here, greatness knows no limits. Here, achievements speak louder than words. And legacies are cemented. This is the ACC, accomplished greatness.
Pitt has scored 2 unanswered touchdowns, and they lead it 28-7 with 7:50 to go in the first half. The rain has subsided, and the fans are back underneath the sunshine here at Acrisure Stadium.
It was like Pitt scores, and all of a sudden the sun just opens up as people kind of get back into their seats.
Short kick from Ben Sauls. It is Luke Floria at his own 10. Floria dancing across the 30, and Floria pushed out just in front of his own 40-yard line for a near 30-yard return.
Really explosive play by Floria there on the kickoff return, and he's one of those guys they've got to get the football to. You can see these numbers already with half the first quarter still left. They've got 28 points. Last season, you see the numbers, 20 a game. That's not going to get it done in the ACC, and there's a reason why Cade Bell is here. And the offense, I think, to this point, early in the game, looks fantastic.
This is what all the buzz was about around Pittsburgh this offseason, with Cade Bell coming in. And that handoff going nowhere fast. Kai Thomas is brought down in the backfield. It's Sincere Edwards, the freshman, making another play and a loss of 7.
You can just see the interior of that defense, and then you bring pressure behind it. Kyle Lewis coming in there as well, and there's nowhere for the Golden Flashes to go. It just seems like the last couple of drives, the Pitt defense has tightened things up and allowed just 52 yards of offense to Kent State.
Fourth tackle for a loss today by the Pitt defense. That one's awfully close. Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and again, third down behind the sticks for the Golden Flashes.
And third down's been a struggle today for the Golden Flashes, just 1 of 5. And, you know, this is third in Youngstown.
Curtis Douglas is in the backfield with Cargman. Looking for some momentum after they had the game at 14-7 midway through the first quarter. To Douglas, 3 straight running plays, and it goes nowhere again. The Pitt front 7 swallowing up this Kent State rushing attack.
Yeah, a little bit surprised they're not going to try to take a chance through the air. I know it's to be unlikely you convert a 3rd and 16, but at least take a chance, take a shot.
Seems a little more conservative than we saw from Kenny Burns even earlier in the game.
You got to wonder, you know, what the philosophy is here, what the mindset is here with this ball game. I think it was really interesting, Matt. This punt's going to roll.
And Mumfield fields it. It goes out of his hands. Still loose. Picked up by Kent State. There it goes for a touchdown. Naeem Muhammad. House call. Hello.
Exactly the way Kenny Burns drew it up. He's like, listen, okay, we're going to give him the old okey doke. We're going to go draw play on 3rd and 16, and then we just plan. We're going to punt the ball, and then we're going to get a muff, and then we're going to just house it. What awareness by Muhammad to get the football. Johnny on the spot, right? Takes it right down the sideline, and just like that, all of a sudden, Kent State cuts it to 2 scores. And what's really interesting about that score is had there not been a targeting call 3 possessions ago, that this would be a 1-score game, or a tie game, maybe potentially. You know, you never know.
Yeah, it was 14-7 when the targeting call negated a 4th down stop. Pitt then comes back 2 plays later, punches it in to make it 21-7. But now the game shifts a little bit as Nyland Brown forced the fumble. Naeem Muhammad took it to the end zone.
Just a crazy sort of play. You know, those are always dangerous. You know, when you try to field those punts on the hop, especially consider this. I know it looks great now because the sun's out, but the field's wet. I mean, we just saw a driving rainstorm come through for about 15 minutes. And so that ball, when it bounces on the ground, it gets damp. And so he's trying to field it, and all of a sudden it squirts out. And you see Muhammad knows exactly what to do, finds the end zone, and sort of gets them back in the game. But now, how about this? 2 touchdowns on special teams, 1 by Kent State, and a punt return by Pitt for 78 yards by the ever elusive and electric Desmond Reed.
And on the kickoff return, we do not see Desmond Reed back deep. It's Kenny Johnson and Desmond Reed's backup, Derek Davis, who also has a touchdown this afternoon. And remember, this is already a shortened running back room without Rodney Hammond.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why you may not see him as much on returns, because you need him so much offensively. You got to make sure that you keep him as fresh as possible without having Hammond. And also, you don't know exactly what you can get in terms of the depth of that running back room.
Kenny Johnson from his own 5. And he is met at the 20. Well, tonight we've got a fun slate of SEC college football games on ESPN Plus and SEC Network Plus. Mississippi State hosting Eastern Kentucky. Number 6 Ole Miss under Lane Kiffin host Furman. And at Auburn at 7:30 Eastern, they are taking on Alabama A&M. Remember to download or go to the ESPNplus.com/schedule to watch. Desmond Reed, right on cue, is back beside his redshirt freshman quarterback Eli Holstein, who had not taken a snap in college before this game. Zips it out to Mumpfield. Hit the ground, it looked like, and now the incomplete pass ruling comes in.
Yeah, that sort of looked like for a moment maybe it was a backward pass. And Monique Washington, the head linesman, excuse me, comes in and says no. She waited a moment and said that's a forward pass.
So now Holstein 14 for 18 today with 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. Couldn't have asked for a better start. Desmond Reed gains 5.
Just love the lateral quickness and agility of Desmond Reed. He is so quick that he's able to cut off of his blockers so quickly. And right there, I mean, you see Gavin Bartholomew, the tight end, who gets a block, kind of 2 gaps the defender, and allows Reed to just pick a side.
Had almost 900 yards rushing last year.
Just 8 games.
8 games.
Yeah. How about that? I think he was a surefire Walter Payton Award winner had he played the entire season.
Oh, what a catch by Kenny Johnson, securing a first down on a low throw by Eli Holstein.
It's almost like he picks this up off the ground, cuts inside, gets away with a little bit of a pick right there by Bartholomew, and great concentration there by Kenny Johnson.
Daniel Carter, 3-yard run. Kenny Johnson, just a sophomore from York, Pennsylvania, dealt with a nagging hamstring injury throughout the summer and fall camp. Had a bit of an up and down fall camp, but healthy now. We're seeing it in this game.
No doubt. When you can get out there in week 1, finally feel like you've gotten yourself to the point where you are healthy, there's nothing better. There's no better feeling than that.
Holstein down to his running back, Desmond Reed. Gets across the 40, and the spot will be just shy of the first down.
Wasting no time here on 3rd and 2 to get to the line of scrimmage.
Back to Reed. Has the first, barreling up the middle. At just 5'8", 175, but his offensive coordinator, Cade Bell, said he's built like thunder.
Now 9 for 56, averaging 6.2 a carry. Goodness.
Holstein quickly out wide, and it is Kenny Johnson again. The leading wide receiver this afternoon now has over 50 yards in the first half.
Kenny Johnson's happy he caught the ball, but then he gets up and he realizes had he not had to go down so low, if he's able to stay up, he may be, banging his head off the goalpost.
Nearly 100 yards rushing, receiving rather, in the game so far. Holstein connects across the 30 with his man Sincere Lee, the transfer from Western Carolina.
It's almost like they're playing Tecmo Bowl and they guess the right play and they know exactly what the defense is running. Cover 2 again, that corner route beautifully thrown by Eli Holstein.
Quickly again, Lee again, shaking free for another first down. And that takes us to the 2-minute timeout of the first half.
The 2-minute timeout.
All Pitt in the first half. They lead it.
The new 12-team college football playoff begins December 20th on ESPN.
Yeah, that's how I get by.
First career start for Eli Holstein today. No big deal, huh? Okay, 19 of 23, 206. Couple of touchdown throws, and on the verge of trying to punch another one in. This guy has been, Matt, so impressive today. His accuracy, his poise, off the charts.
Quickly out wide. And again, Sincere Lee, that's the third straight catch by Sincere Lee on this drive.
And I love what Holstein's doing here. He is absolutely taking exactly what the defense is giving them. Soft cushion, okay, take the underneath throw.
Gives it to Desmond Reed. He is just never easy to bring down. Even when you've got him bottled up, he's slipping out of arms.
And that's what you love about a running back like Desmond Reed. You're always getting positive yards when you put the football in his hands. And what's so crazy is for his size, we talked about it a couple times, 5'8", 175, he runs like he's about 220.
Here's a throw to the end zone, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Alex Branch. Room to run for Kent State. Branch, one man to beat and shoved out of bounds by Desmond Reed. Hang on to your hats in Pittsburgh. A chance for Kent State to make it a one-score game before halftime.
Talk about redemption for Alex Branch. The last drive, he's beaten for a touchdown and then comes right back the next drive. A pick nearly takes this to the house. A poor decision, I think, by Holstein. A little pressure. You just let that sail. He throws it off his back foot, so he doesn't have a lot of accuracy, but I give him credit. He does a great job down the field. He forces Branch out of bounds. A lot of quarterbacks maybe would give up on that play. I like the way he puts himself in position to not take a big shot and not have to make a tackle, but also forces the runner, Alex Branch, out of bounds and make them take another snap.
Really the first mistake of the day by Eli Holstein. And it sets up first down for Kent State after the 61-yard interception return. 2 timeouts left for the Golden Flashes. And the ball inside Pitt's 40-yard line. Can this be a game-changing play late in the first half? Cargman, wobbling ball, and it is batted down, and a flag comes in behind the play. And we could have a roughing the passer situation here.
Penalty or not, this is a great play by Krishan McCray. They're saying it's against Kent State.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a
legal man downfield.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 66. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Just the first Kent State penalty of the first half. And it backs him up outside the 40-yard line.
I still go back to that play because Krishan McCray becomes a defensive back right there and knocks that ball down. You know, a wobbly throw by Cargman, and listen, had that been picked off, that penalty be declined.
Pressure up the middle. Cargman deep down the sideline looking for McCray. And in coverage, it was Rylan Gandy. Now, he's somebody they want to get the ball to more. That's just the 3rd target of the game for a guy that led the team in receiving a year ago.
Yeah, I was so impressed with him a season ago. I had a chance to call the wagon wheel game, and you know, he had a couple of touchdowns in that ball game, ended up leaving with an injury. But you could just tell this guy last year as a freshman, he's got some wheels and ability, you know, on the outside. You pair him up with a guy like Floria on the opposite side. 2 dangerous weapons, not just in the Mid-American Conference, but they're doing it today here against Pitt.
2nd and 15. Kai Thomas slips a tackler, now a second, and is brought down at about the 39 to bring up 3rd and long, and a timeout on the field.
Charge, timeout. Hit. Their first of the half. Will be 30 seconds. Please set the game clock to 46 seconds.
Timeout here.
Well, our Labor Day weekend, ESPN and ABC college football, it rolls on. The Sunshine State rivalry, 3:30 Eastern today. It's a good one. Miami and Florida. And number 7 Notre Dame takes on number 20 Texas A&M. That's going to be interesting. Riley Leonard taking on his old coach. And then tomorrow night, number 23 USC squares off against 13 LSU. That one's in Vegas. And Monday night, BC in Tallahassee to take on Florida State.
Why does Pitt take a timeout here? Try to get the ball back and score quickly?
You gotta be. Or maybe they had an issue with substitution. I'm not exactly sure.
Kent State does get the ball back to start
so
the
maybe
second
try
half.
to get points before halftime here. Nonetheless, if I'm Kent State here, Matt, you don't have to get it all, right? I mean, if you get 6-7 yards, you give yourself a chance to go for it. I think it's vital with the interception and the momentum. You've got to find a way to get points here.
Or at least get in field goal position for
Right.
Andrew Glass.
Absolutely.
He is hit from 48. His longest last year. Pressure again up the middle. Cargman is hit. Looking for Floria. And intercepted. Picked off by Donovan McMillan. And that negates the interception in the end zone by Kent State just a few plays ago.
Now, Sincere Edwards had the pressure, and there's been a lot of pressure today on Devin Cargman. 90 is going to be all the way upfield. He does a good job working against that right side. That's Gandy with the tip, and then McMillan with the pick. And I guess it's just as good as a punt in that situation, because there won't be most likely another drive here before halftime, and everybody thinks they're LeBron James.
Donovan McMillan last year led the team in tackles, had 105. He was the most at Pitt since Jordan Whitehead in 2015. That's pretty good company.
Absolutely.
Jordan Whitehead, of course, won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now he's with the New York Jets. And for Devin Cargman, man, he just cannot get any space to throw the football in a clean pocket this afternoon.
I can't tell. Is Cargman, is he John Wick? That's some awesome,
That's real hair, by the way.
Awesome hair, man. Goodness gracious. Don't mess with Cargman's dog.
So now does Pitt try to go quickly here and pick up points? 4 wide receivers set with Desmond Reed in the backfield. They will get 10 or 11 by Sincere lead.
The clock will start on the snap.
Well, they're trying to do something here. If they can continue to get a couple of chunk plays, they may have an opportunity to maybe kick a field goal before halftime.
Play action. Holstein flushed out, looking downfield, and floats it out of bounds.
Again, there was pressure by Kent State. 2 defenders in the backfield, and I like the way Holstein steps up, avoids the pressure, kind of buys himself more time to roll out to the right side. And I think a pretty smart decision to throw to his mom in the stands and live to fight another down.
Mom Amy.
We met Amy last night. How about that?
Dad Scott, former punter at LSU.
What a great visit we had with them, and ironic, we ran into him at a wonderful Italian establishment last night.
Serafino.
Yeah.
Looking for Poppy Williams and over his head.
Matt, getting a little word there might be some more severe weather moving into the area.
Hush, Dustin Fox.
I'm hushing.
We're manifesting something different.
Well, as Eli Holstein's trying to manifest a chunk play here to give him an opportunity to maybe get points.
They have a big-legged kicker, Ben Sauls. And they will pick up another first down. All of a sudden, Sincere lead late in the first half with 6 catches.
Charge timeout. Kent State. Their
And
second
that
of the
is
half.
Kent State's second
It will be 30
timeout.
seconds.
2 peculiar timeouts here to close the first half. One from Pitt and one from Kent State.
Well, it is interesting. They did rule him short, Matt, so it's 4th and 1. So I think the timeout's called to anticipate a punt and maybe a good return. See what happens. I mean, I don't think there's going to be enough time to get points, but maybe a punt return if they decide to kick it to you. And if you put Floria back there or Krishan McCray, anything can happen.
Holstein had not taken a college snap before this afternoon. Redshirted last year at Alabama after coming out of the 2023 class, ranked the number 5 quarterback in the country. Minus that 1 interception, has looked really good this afternoon.
And the other thing to point out here, Kent State has their block team all at the line of scrimmage. Maybe they can try to create some some havoc here and put a little pressure on Pitt.
Luke Floria back deep to receive, and there is a whistle before the snap.
Snap infraction. Offense number 47. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
Long snapper Nile Upa with the penalty.
With an oopsie. Not really going to hurt him in the grand scheme of things, assuming they can get the football snapped and punted.
Caleb Junko gets it away just barely.
Heck of a kick.
And Floria receives it at the 25, a 48-yard punt. And it leaves 2 seconds on the game clock here to close the first half.
Very interesting first half, Matt, because it felt like Pitt has just owned the first half. However, you know, Kent's just hanging around. They've had some big plays. They've had a turnover, a miscue on special teams by Pitt that allowed a touchdown. They haven't done anything offensively, just the 54 yards. But I do think their defense has sort of kept them in the game. Outside of the special teams touchdown by Pitt, this would be a 21-14 game.
And I'd argue, if I'm a Kent State fan, this could be even closer than 28-14 because of that targeting call earlier in the first half that sent Caleb Johns out of the game. It reversed a 4th down stop and allowed Pitt to make it 21-14. Kent State will get the ball to start the second half. What a start by Eli Holstein in his first Pitt start, leading 3 touchdown drives, and his team leads it 28-14.
Got a chance to do something special, man.
The audacity to dream comes to us all. I've dared to dream a million dreams, but only need to act upon one.
You are built for moments just like this.
All you want is an opportunity to win.
So I set fire to the old me and stepped into my light. When they ask, how dare you, the audacity, I ask, how dare you not? Who am I who dares to dream?
We are living in the moment of history.
A dream so pure that all are welcome and seen, where no one ever asks, who are you who dares to dream?
We're back. Welcome in to the ESPN Studios alongside Joey Galloway, Coach Dan Mullen, Kelsey Riggs. One of the best Saturdays of the year is here, week 1 of college football, and we've got a big one coming your way tonight. A top 20 matchup between Texas A&M and Notre Dame. When it comes to this Notre Dame offense, going to look a little different with Riley Leonard. What are you expecting?
So it's interesting. They went and got Sam Hartman last season, and the offense looked disjointed. Sam Hartman's a down-the-field guy. They couldn't go down the field, so it didn't look right. Now they got Riley Leonard that comes in. He's an athletic quarterback, but he is coming off of an injury. So it'll be interesting to see how healthy he is, number one. But he's the kind of guy that makes plays with his arms and his feet. So he sort of fits into the physicality of a Notre Dame offense because he is going to run the ball, and when he runs it, Coach, he goes in there like a running back, and I think that's the physicality they want to put on the field, and he seems like a much better fit than what they've been doing the past couple years.
Yeah, he brings that leadership that they're going to need to, and the easy adjustment of going a veteran quarterback last year as a leader to another veteran quarterback that's comfortable in what he's doing. But on the other side of the ball, there's going to be a really interesting quarterback story with Connor Wegman. He's coming. He played 4 games last year. Texas A&M went 3-1 in those games. He had 8 touchdown passes before an injury. He was one of the most highly recruited quarterbacks coming out of high school. There was so much excitement around him, and can he come back and play at the high level that they need to go play in Colin Klein's offense? He's got an offensive coordinator that played quarterback. I think they're going to be a great match with his athleticism, his ability to both run and throw the ball. I think they're going to be a good match for this A&M offense.
A&M seems to be a team much like Miami for me that is always talented, but for some reason cannot put it together when it matters for an entire season. So we'll see what they are this season, but I got to see them do it.
Mike Elko back in College Station, taking on his former quarterback, Riley Leonard. Interesting to see how that all plays out tomorrow. Speaking of College Station, College Game Day is there this week, and we turn it over now to Reese Davis and Desmond Howard. Guys.
Howdy. College Station on the campus of Texas A&M Kyle Field. What an imposing, intimidating venue. Mike Elko will lead the Aggies out as the head coach of Texas A&M in his first game after coming over from Duke. And Desmond, you know, there's been so much evaluation of Riley Leonard, the former Duke quarterback who played for Elko, going to Notre Dame. Now he goes against his old coach. But you spin it around when A&M has the ball. They've got Connor Wigman, who's healthy, shown flashes of brilliance against a Notre Dame defense that really ought to be elite.
No doubt about that. I spoke to Coach Freeman. He talked about his defense and how they have studs on every level. He said, quite frankly, Desmond, they're going to have to carry us early until the offense catches up. But Connor Wigman, small sample size, but a very impressive sample size, too. Dual threat quarterback. Don't worry about his health. He said that he's 100% ready to go. This is going to be an epic matchup. When A&M's offense got the ball, I can't wait to watch them go up against that Notre Dame defense.
I tell you, you know what? Notre Dame has stars. Benjamin Morrison, cornerback, is a highly regarded guy from the pros. Xavier Watts led the nation in interceptions with 7 of them last year. Howard Cross up front. I expect low scoring. You?
Yeah.
Low scoring, hard-nosed, try to avoid the mistake. Notre Dame and Texas A&M, what a great way to finish off a Saturday night on ABC with the Fighting Irish and the Aggies.
Looking forward to that and looking forward to this because we have been mulling it over all off season. Coach going to tell us the surprise teams who could be in and out of the college football playoff, plus what's next for Notre Dame. Is it must win? That's ahead.
The 12-team college football playoff is here. The 4 highest-ranked conference champions will get first-round byes, and the 8 teams seeded 5 through 12 will play at the host campus starting December 20th. From there, the playoff will play out as dictated by the bracket. The quarterfinals and semifinals will be played at traditional New Year's Six bowl game locations, and it all culminates with the national championship game on January 20th, only on ESPN.
Well, there's been plenty to mull over this offseason, but this is mulling it over. Season 2 with Coach Dan Mullen. Kelsey Riggs excited to be in for this one, and we got to give the people what they want. Another year of mulling it over. We've got 4 different topics to break down, and we're going to start with the top 20 showdown between Notre Dame and Texas A&M. When it comes to the Irish, and you're looking at that college football playoff, is this a must-win game for them?
I think it is, and a lot. Riley Leonard's going to be a lot on him. He played in some big games at Duke, but he's going to take his new offense, new players around him, and he's got to go into one of the toughest environments at Kyle Field against Texas A&M and his former coach.
Yeah.
And if you look at their schedule, the reason it's a must-win game, if they lose this one, people are going to question where are the quality wins coming after week 1 with a loss already on the record to Texas A&M.
All right, so we're mulling it over on that one. Another thing that we are keeping our eye on is, of course, the college football playoff. And you pretty much think, okay, the SEC and the Big Ten, they're good with getting multiple teams in. But the ACC and Big 12, who do you have getting 2 teams in the college football playoff?
I have the ACC getting 2 teams in this year, and there's some question after week 0, the Florida State loss, but the depth of the league. Miami, Cam Ward coming in at quarterback, explosive players, exciting. Grayson McCall, a tough winner going to NC State, fits Dave Dorn's personality. And everyone has said, hey, Clemson, the dynasty, it's kind of on the downfall. I don't agree with that. I think they have a talented team coming back, and I'm going to go with Miami and Clemson. I think both get in the playoffs from the ACC this year.
I like that. Let's go to our third topic, and you're mulling it over on this as well, because as you take a look at the 12-team college football playoff, we know the top 4 are locks from the conference winners, but those other 8 spots, you're mulling it over on a surprise team, 2 surprise teams that could get in. Who is it?
I got to see one Thursday night with Missouri as a surprise team. They have offensive firepower. Brady Cook's throwing to Luther Bird and Theo Weiss, some of the best receivers in the country. The talented O-line, they can run the football. But most impressively, the defense. They lost a lot of guys last year to the NFL, but they looked sharp defensively. The other team, Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin's getting over the hump this year. He's got his quarterback in Jackson Dart. He has a lot of talented players. He's excited about this roster. I think both Missouri and Ole Miss make the playoffs from the SEC.
SEC very deep yet again this year. The other side of that 12-team college football playoff is, of course, surprise teams that could be on the outside looking in when it's all said and done. Who are 2 surprise teams you think are not going to make it this year?
Yeah, it's not the 5 and 6 left out. You're looking further down. I'm going to go with the one surprise team left out, Alabama. Kalen DeBoer, I think, is an excellent hire. I think he's going to do a great job. You already see the transition. I think it's been very successful. They have a tough schedule, new coach, transitioning in. I think they get left out. The other surprise team, Michigan. Jerome Moore in his first year. A lot of new faces on that roster. There's some tough teams in the Big Ten with Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State. I think the defending national champion gets left out of the college football playoff.
Mulling it over with Coach Dan Mullen should be called stirring the pots here on week 1, leaving those 2 teams out of the college football playoff. We will see. Speaking of stirring the pot, Joey Galloway likes to stir the pot, has a few thoughts. You see the Saturday slate. What you got your eye on?
I think Coach is mulling over a whole lot before the season starts. But Ohio State and that roster, they should win by 100 against Akron.
Cannot wait to see across the whole ESPN family of networks. First Saturday, full Saturday of college football.
You're watching Modelo Kickoff Week.
Welcome back to the All-State Saturday Kickoff and a gorgeous week 1 here in Pittsburgh. The confluence of 3 rivers. It has been a confluence of offensive production for the Pitt Panthers in the first half. 330 yards of total offense. They lead it by 2 touchdowns over the Kent State Golden Flashes. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher, Dustin Fox with you. The big question mark coming into this game, who starts at quarterback for Pitt? It's Eli Holstein. He has been terrific in his first collegiate start.
Absolutely perfect outside of one bad play. I mean, you look at the numbers this guy has had today alone, just absolutely off the charts. 23 of 30. That throw to Johnson was unbelievable. Unbelievable. That one to Mumpfield. Like wide open receivers, and then he puts it on a dime. You got to be so impressed with that. Only one bad play, and it's an interception. But he turns it into a positive play because he tracks down the runner, forces him out of bounds. In fact, there's no points on that drive.
He has been pretty spectacular. Hadn't taken a snap in college until today. And his team leads it by 2 touchdowns, and Kent State will receive to start the second half. Time now for our player check-in presented by Allstate. It is Eli Holstein. The numbers speak for themselves. And again, this is a young man who is trying to come in here and settle the ship at quarterback at a program that really hasn't had a settled ship at that position since Kenny Pickett in 2021.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett was obviously a first-round draft pick. They haven't had an NFL type of talent at quarterback, and they were a little hesitant, Matt, to go into the portal again and take a quarterback because it's so difficult to get someone to come in and feel like that guy is going to be able to command your offense. There's a lot of schools, by the way, Matt, that don't like getting portal quarterbacks for that very reason. It's tough to come in and get the entire team to buy in, to a player that's been somewhere else. Like, especially if you're coming for a season or 2, it is very unique now, college football, in where we have gone.
2nd and 10 for Devin Karjman. Sprinting out to his right, pressured and has to get rid of it. And that is the Kansas State transfer, Nate Matlack. You want to talk about NFL ability. That is what his defensive coordinator, Randy Bates, believes is the future for Matlack.
He wears number 2 and he plays DN. And you think about this guy, he's used to playing in a 3-4 defense. And so he's used to playing, inside. Here at Pitt, 4-3, they move him outside, hand in the dirt, a little bit more comfortable as a true pass rushing defensive end.
Randy Bates called him an edge guy. That is his specialty. 3rd and long. Karjman looking for McCray. Somehow made the catch but short of the sticks.
You got nothing to lose here, right? I know you're in your own territory at the 34-yard line.
4th and a long one. You're going for it here.
What do you have to lose? Your offense has, 50-plus yards in the first half, and you're on the road as a big dog. Like, this isn't 4th and 5 at your, 20-yard line. This is 4th and 1 at the 35.
Kai Thomas in the backfield.
And I like that, too. You try to draw them off sides and get yourself a free first down. And frankly, maybe that's what they're going to do. Maybe they're just going to call timeout here.
And indeed they will. Kenny Burns will burn his first time out.
Kent State.
Less than a minute into the second half. Well, his offense only picked up 54 yards in the first half, and yet you're only down 2 scores. Big part of that was the 61-yard interception by Alex Branch, stopping a potential Pitt touchdown drive.
I mean, honestly, you look at the scoreboard and you say, all right, 28 points given up in the first half. I honestly think that Kent State's defense at times has played well. They've created, a turnover that was huge inside the red zone. And remember, there was a touchdown scored by Pittsburgh that was because of a targeting call. That was a a turnover on downs that ends up going back 1st and goal.
It's Tommy Ulatowski, his first snap of the game, and he runs it ahead for a first down.
Well, we thought we would see Ulatowski in certain occasions based on down and distance and where they are at on the field. It's a perfect time to get Ulatowski in the game. He's more of that RPO type of quarterback. We saw him quite a bit last year as he started a couple of ball games for Kent State.
Well, he was beat out by Devin Cargman during fall camp. It was a tightly contested quarterback battle. Many thought Ulatowski was going to be the incumbent after starting 3 games last year. Here's Kai Thomas shaking off tacklers and finished by Brandon George at the end of a 9-yard run.
This is a great job by Thomas. He gets upfield, finds a little crease, and does just enough to give him a chance for a 2nd and short.
Oh, that was a bobbled exchange. Thomas somehow got out of dodge. No gain.
That could have been disastrous for Kent State, and somehow he gets back to the line of scrimmage. How about bring Ulatowski back in for a little RPO action?
Well, certainly the ground game was not kind to Kent State in the first half. Single digits on the ground in the opening frame. 3rd and 1. They go back to the ground. It's Cargman this time lunging ahead for a first down. Devin Cargman in his 3rd collegiate start. Last year made 1 start and was pretty darn good. 253 yards, completed 57% of his passes, and threw for 2 touchdowns. Got the keys to the offense this year because he had more command during fall camp. It felt like this was finally his offense. Low snap. Cargman up off the turf and finds Floria near the sticks. And that'll move the sticks again for Kent State.
A really nice job here by Cargman, who is getting pressured and has time, however, because he's able to have awareness in the pocket, goes through the progressions, comes back to the right side, and that's where Floria's at. He comes back to the ball, feels that zone coverage. I think that's a really nice job by Floria, being on the same page with his quarterback to pick up that first down. This is a great drive. 8 plays, very balanced, evenly balanced, 50-50. And inside Pitt territory.
Floria possibly dealing with some cramps. 3rd first down of the drive. They had just 3 first downs the entire first half. And a first down run to Curtis Douglas. Well, we talked a lot about the Pitt quarterback situation. You could say the same for Kent State last year. They started 3 different quarterbacks. Of course, Cargman was one of those. And so under year 2 of Kenny Burns, they're trying to find some stability at that position.
It's so important. I mean, it's not cliche, even though it kind of is, but like, especially in the MAC, if you have a good quarterback in the MAC, you're going to have a chance every year to compete for that conference, and that's what they really lacked last season.
Cardsman, a dart over the middle. And it's Krishan McCray, who they only targeted 3 times in the first half. We've already seen 2 targets on the opening drive of the second half.
It's a nice throw by Cardsman. Kind of gets that in a very tight window. It's good coverage on the outside. I like that. And again, a nice drive here being put together by the Golden Flashes.
Probably the best drive we have seen since that lone touchdown they scored in the first half offensively. Off throws from Cardsman, going deep. This one to the end zone. And it is caught for a touchdown. Krishan McCray over the outstretched arms of P.J. O'Brien.
Take a double look at if he secures the football. Boy, the ball was definitely bobbling as McCray's going to the ground. Certainly every scoring play is reviewed, so they'll take a peek at it.
What an effort by Krishan McCray.
How about the throw? The fans here in Acrisure Stadium are seeing the replay on the Jumbotron, not happy with the call because clearly the ball was moving, but the officials must have seen that he secured it as he was going to the ground.
Now 2 touchdowns through the air for Devin Cardsman, and just like that, it is a 1-score game in Pittsburgh.
In a flash, they're back in the game. Golden Flash's best drive of the game by far. Don't go anywhere. Maybe a little upset brewing here from Pittsburgh.
You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Welcome back to the All-State Saturday Kickoff. This is Modelo Kickoff Week, and we have a brand new ball game at Acrisure Stadium after a 5.5-minute touchdown drive to open the second half by Devin Cardsman and Kent State.
And that drive has got them back in the ball game, Matt. The offense of Kent State, they could do nothing in the first half. Only ran 24 offensive plays, and you pointed out that drive. They ran 11 on just that drive alone.
Kenny Johnson with some room, brings it out across the 30. And that is where we will see Eli Holstein, who was terrific in the first half of his first collegiate start. 22 for 29, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that lone interception that really kept this game within striking distance for Kent State to close out the first half.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, their defense has played well, and can you imagine how much different the defense would be if they had Caleb Johns in there defensively?
That is a great point. Holstein to the air, finds Kanate Mumpfield out near midfield with a first down. If you're just joining us, Caleb Johns, the starting linebacker for Kent State, was ejected early in the first half on a targeting call that completely flipped the first half. He made a tackle to get a turnover on downs. It was negated. Pitt scored 3 plays later to go up 2 touchdowns. Here is Jake Overman making one-man miss, lowers the boom across the 45.
Officials timeout for an injury.
Josh Baca, the starting safety, is down for Kent State.
Media timeout.
1-score game in Pittsburgh. Panthers moving the ball at midfield when we return. This was arguably the biggest play of the first half. Caleb Johns on 4th and 5 comes up and makes a pop on Desmond Reed, seemingly to turn the ball back over and give Kent State the football down 14-7. Instead, it's rolled targeting. A couple of plays later, Pitt scores to make it 21-7. And at that point, it started to feel like the tide of the first half momentum was swinging Pitt's way. Credit to Kent State. They have come back and made it a one-score game.
Oh, there's no doubt that could have been, a 14-point swing. However, you're right. I mean, they've stayed in the game. They've been engaged. I think the defense has done a nice job. And now we're going to find out here in the second half, Eli Holstein, the quarterback, the freshman quarterback here for Pitt. How's he deal with a little bit of adversity?
Desmond Reed, give it to him. Slashing up the middle to the end zone. Touchdown, Pitt. "46 yards to the house." That'll help a freshman quarterback.
Yeah, Desmond Reed says, don't worry, QB, I got you, partner. House call, and again, you can see that explosiveness from Desmond Reed, who I think a lot of people across the country by mid-season will be talking and raving about Desmond Reed and his ability here in this Pitt offense, which looks completely different than we saw a season ago. Already 35 points on the board. Only averaged about 20 a season ago. It's like a completely different football team than what you saw in 2023. Explosive plays, and you can see this guy. Obviously, we knew coming into this game it was going to be probably a 1A, 1B type of deal with Rodney Hammond Jr., who yesterday was ruled ineligible, so all of a sudden a ton more got put on the plate of Desmond Reed, and he has shown up in a big way here in the opening week for Pitt.
Dustin, he has 12 rushes for 110 yards, plus a 78-yard punt return to the house. What a day. His first day wearing a Pitt uniform, transferring over with new offensive coordinator Cade Bell from Western Carolina, where he was a first-team all-conference selection, one of the top running backs in the FCS, and had it not been for injury, probably would have won the FCS Player of the Year.
No, there's no doubt. The Walter Payton Award would be in his apartment right now. But the hamstring, this can be a little bit chronic at times. And, chatting with Cade Bell, who was the offensive coordinator last year at Western Carolina, said, man, we probably should have held him out there a little bit. Instead, they try to rush him back for the big game at the end of the year. Nonetheless, he's healthy now, and that's all that matters for Pitt Panthers fans.
No Rodney Hammond, no problem for week one, at least at the running back position for Pitt. And make no mistake, that is a big loss this year for the Pitt Panthers. Rodney Hammond, of course, was the leading rusher a season ago, but he passes the torch to Desmond Reed. And if game one is any indication, Pitt's ground game is going to be hard to stop this year.
What's so unique about this offense compared to like last year is you still have a lot of the playmakers that have been around. Add in a Desmond Reed, and you've got a guy like Poppy Williams in this offense as well. But now you got a quarterback that can deliver the football to them. That's a whole different deal.
Cargman was trying to deliver that to Luke Floria well over his head. Now, the last time we saw Cargman on the field, he led an 11-play, 5.5-minute touchdown drive. Arguably his best drive of the game, maybe save for that lone touchdown drive he orchestrated in the first half. What did you like about that last drive from Kent State?
I liked how balanced they were. I liked that they were able to have positive yardage plays on first down that just really put them in an opportunity to get those third down conversions and a fourth down conversion, oh, by the way.
Floria, far sideline, spins out of a tackler, across the 50, shakes a second, and he's inside Pitt territory. Luke Floria with a gain of 41 yards.
I told you, partner, coming to this game that number 0 and number 2 for Kent State are dudes that can play on any team at the FBS level, Power 4 level more importantly, and he shows off that ability to make the catch. And then after the catch, you see the speed by Floria, who is a heck of a player.
Emerged last year as a steady weapon underneath. A nice compliment to Krishan McCray's deep threat.
Well, what's so remarkable about these two young men, Luke Floria and Krishan McCray, is that last season they did not have an answer at quarterback. Right. So these guys are playing with, how many different guys you're rotating through this offense in a 1-11 type of a team. As you go back and take a look at Floria one more time, I just think that the sky's the limit now when they feel like they've got a quarterback in there. And Cardsman, to this point, you're going up a really good defense, is played, I think, serviceable to this point.
Lots of talk at Kent State about who would be the starter this year, Tommy Ulatowski or Devin Cardsman. Cardsman making his case here in the second half. Kai Thomas, spin move. Thomas lowers the shoulder and churns ahead for a first down and a pickup of 9.
Man, I'm so impressed by the way Kent State has responded in this game. Every time they've been punched in the mouth, they've found a way to just find an answer and just keep getting up off the mat. And here's what they're doing again.
Jailbreak blitz. They get the ball out. Thomas again. Complete. This is a totally different Kent State offense than we saw in the first half.
No question. I think because they've settled in a little bit more here with the offense, they felt like, hey, I'm sure Kenny Burns said to these guys at halftime, it's a 28-14 game. We had 50 yards of offense and they had 300. Somehow we're in the game. If we can just find a way to make a couple of big plays, chunk plays, to get this to maybe be a 1-score game or a 2-score game going to the fourth quarter, they felt like they would have a chance.
Cardsman, play action over the middle, tipped, ball in the air, and it is intercepted. Second interception of the game for the Pitt defense. It's Keith Thompson winning it back for the Panthers.
Keith Thompson, you might remember, I remember, heck of a linebacker at Ohio for the Bobcats. Transfers in here to Pitt, and you see 36, ball's batted up in the air, picked off by Keith Thompson, and Pitt comes up with a huge stop in the red zone.
The Allstate Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Big change on the last call. It went to review, ruled incomplete. Kent State keeps the ball, 3rd and long. Golden flashes threatening. Cardsman looking, end zone. Caught but out of bounds. Krishan McCray, you won't find a more acrobatic wide receiver in the country.
Comes up a little bit hobbling here at the end of this play. I like the throw. It gives him a chance outside. What a catch.
Wow.
What a catch. It just not able to get the foot down, and points here obviously very, very important for Kent State.
Andrew Glass on to attempt the field goal from 36 yards. Second team All-MAC place kicker a year ago. And he knocks it through.
It's almost like they were gifted 3 points.
No
I mean, they're on the sidelines thinking, hey, we just turned the ball over. Maybe they're in the, down in the tank thinking this thing's over now. That was our chance to get back in it. Got 3 points out of it. That's a win, and now it's a 1-score game.
As every turnover is, this one was reviewed. Batted ball. Keith Thompson runs into 2 of his teammates. And you'll see here right at the end, the ball comes loose. Nose of the football hits the turf and ruled incomplete.
11-point game.
Math is our forte.
Math is hard for me, man.
You and me both. There's a reason we're doing this job.
Glen Oaks own, baby.
Kenny Burns has to be super pleased. His team was outgained 300-54 in the first half, as you just saw Krishan McCray go to the medical tent. And they're still in this game, Dustin. How?
I think Kenny Burns deserves a lot of credit because he's done a great job this offseason keeping his guys engaged, has them focused on not the negative things that have happened last year in the past, but more like looking forward and trying to learn from all those mistakes in the past. And it's more about effort. When you get in a game like this, you've got to fight your tail off because you're obviously a little bit overmatched. Everybody knows that. Kenny knows that. No one in the stands don't know that. So your goal is just to try and play as hard as you can. You've got to get some turnovers, maybe some big plays on the special teams. Those have happened for Kent State, so they've got a chance. The problem has been this QB for Pitt has been off the charts, and they're having a hard time slowing down this offense.
There was a flag thrown late on the kickoff, which, by the way, was fair caught by Kenny Johnson. Our officiating crew is cleaning this up, led by Tim Hedgepeth, our lead referee, wearing the white hat.
Sequence, first down sequence. Then go Panthers, and then the Emperor. The second down is go Panthers, third down is the Emperor.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, kicking team number 20, 15-yard penalty, first down Pitt.
And you can't have that if you're Kenny Burns, who, as you referenced, feels like his team has had more fight. Of course, this being the first game of the season, we're now seeing it come to fruition, but he said all throughout spring, all throughout fall camp, he felt a higher level of competition and grit from his team, which, by the way, was the youngest team in the FBS a season ago. Good field position to start. Desmond Reed taking advantage, shifting out near the 45 after a gain of 3.
Impressive job there by Mason Woods, who could have jumped inside and opened up a big hole for Reed. And fortunately for Kent State, he picks the right side.
Holstein fakes, then finds a man wide open. It's Gavin Bartholomew, the tight end, still going to the 35. 21-yard reception for the leading receiving tight end from a year ago.
Narduzzi told us that this guy, Gavin Bartholomew, again, so good run after the catch, and I think Naeem Muhammad agrees.
He's going to be feeling it tomorrow. Here's Bartholomew again after the catch, rumbling down inside the 25. Back-to-back games by Bartholomew of 15 or more. And this is the Pitt offense that we saw in the first half. Quick tempo, chunk plays.
And I like the way that they're not playing any differently based on the score and situation, because that's what Cade Bell does in his offense. They're not going to change.
That ball was batted at the line of scrimmage by Stephen Daly, their second returning leading tackler, who's been all over the field today for Kent State. Pitt ran more plays in the first half than they averaged per game last year. This revamped offense on full display as Holstein picks it up off the turf, floats it to the end zone, almost intercepted. Oh, what a play by Josh Baca, laying out.
There was a ton of pressure on Holstein, really off of both sides, and the ball ends up just sailing.
One injury.
And now Desmond Reed is down in the end zone.
Yeah, that is not good news. He was just, on a little bit of a wheel route outside of the backfield. He was open, and I really don't think that Holstein even saw Josh Baca come over from his safety position. It was great range by Baca.
He was like a heat-seeking missile getting over there from the middle of the field.
Game of angles, right? You have to be able to break from that middle field safety position, and he does a tremendous job as we hope that Reed's going to be okay. He was a little hobbling getting up.
They will send his replacement, Derek Davis Jr., onto the field. And remember, if you're just joining us, the leading returning rusher from a season ago for Pitt, Rodney Hammond, out for the year due to eligibility issues. So now their third running back, Derek Davis, in for 3rd and 10. Holstein steps up, zips it over the middle, and caught for a first down. Kanate Mumfield has been his favorite target on 3rd and long today.
Pretty good awareness by Holstein there. He steps up like he's going to take off and just run and try to get the first down. and just at the last moment gets rid of the ball, finds his target over the middle for the first down.
Mumfield with 5 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown. To the air again, and that is caught for a touchdown. Kenny Johnson.
When I asked Cade Bell, I said, who is probably the target you would look to go to in the red zone? He said Kenny Johnson, and I said, why? And he said, because of the 50-50 balls. This is exactly that. It's a 50-50 ball. He throws it up to his guy. He's going up against the sophomore, Joel Boma. And I just think that's just such impressive confidence and concentration by Kenny Johnson. You know, just had 1 touchdown a season ago. But boy, comes into this, he runs hard, he's a tough kid who just makes plays. And I just think that Pitt right now has about 4 to 5 playmakers, skill position playmakers on offense, including the tight end. I call him a skill position too, because you see that guy run.
Well, he had 2 big catches on this drive. The way that Holstein has thrown the ball today, his touch has been so impressive, Dustin.
Well, look at the ball here. If this is not caught by Kenny Johnson, it's going to land 3 yards in the white. Because of the angle and trajectory it's coming down, it literally can go only to Kenny Johnson or out of bounds. I mean, that is just, I mean, that's like an NFL type throw. Maybe a reason why Eli Holstein was a, you know, top 5 quarterback coming out of high school.
Louisiana Player of the Year. 66 touchdowns, a 3-year starter at Zachary High School, and a state champion. But you talk to his parents, Scott and Amy, and they credit his older brother Caleb for the competitiveness that's in Eli. We're seeing that today. Mom and Dad looking on. We ran into them last night after a beautiful Italian dinner, and as you might imagine, they were juiced up for their son's first collegiate start today.
Oh, there's no question. They were super excited about it, and they said they were crashing at his apartment,
watching the dog this weekend.
Watching the dog this weekend. That's some good parenting right there. Love that. I love talking to the student athletes' parents when you have the opportunity, because they're so proud of their student athletes, their kids, you know, and you could feel that from Pops last night. There's no doubt.
Well, his dad Scott was a punter at LSU. His older son Caleb, a 4-time state champion in Louisiana, 2 in football, 2 in basketball. Went on to play at Louisiana Tech. And now passing the baton to his brother Eli Holstein, who has looked terrific leading this Pitt offense. And now it's time for another response from Kent State. Each time they have been hit with a haymaker in this game, they have found a way to respond.
Officials timeout for an injury.
And now Brandon George is down, the Mike linebacker for the Pitt Panthers. And we talked so much early, Dustin, about the buzz around this city for the new offense for Pitt. Remember, they're coming off a 3-9 season, their worst record since 1998, a sluggish offense. Boy, has it looked different this afternoon.
You just see the numbers from last season compared to today. It's not even close. Especially the points per game. And I'm not saying they're going to score 42 in every game they play this year, but if you only score 20 on average, you're going to be 3-9. I mean, that's it. You know, plain and simple. You're just not going to get it done, no matter how good your defense is. If you don't have, you know, an offense that can go out there and consistently put up 28+ points a game, you've got no chance.
Curtis Douglas, the motion man. 5 wide on 2nd and 3 for Devin Cargman. Pressure off the edge. He was rocked, but the catch made by Luke Floria. Man, that was some serious heat on the backside by Jimmy Scott.
Really showing a lot of toughness. Cargman is here. You're right. Scott just comes in from the backside, and I'm not going to sleep well tonight because my back hurts.
He got that from the front and from the back. That was a massive hit by this Pitt defense.
And yet he continues to get up and fight, and you got to love that toughness out of the junior quarterback. Cargman
Keith Thompson was in on that hit as well. He came rolling up the middle. And now Curtis Douglas galloping ahead for 7 yards.
Something changed with Kent State's offense.
Big time.
It's just a totally different deal. I don't exactly know what it is, but they're executing, and that is something that they did not do very well in the first half.
2 minutes left in the third quarter. Bobbled exchange there between Cargman and Douglas. No gain. You alluded to it earlier. We saw a lot of 3rd and long behind the sticks in the first half for Kent State. It's all been 3rd and manageable in the third quarter.
It's not that difficult. I mean, it's difficult to execute, but in theory, if you can get positive yards on the 1st and 2nd downs, you give yourself a chance. Like right here, 3rd and 3. This is a doable situation and probably a 4-down situation as well.
And they bring in Kai Thomas at running back. Stands at the near sideline. Empty backfield. Cargman connects for a 1st down. And it's Luke Floria again, who has been the leading wide receiver, up over 100 yards this afternoon.
It's going to be great for Kent State this year is a guy like Luke Floria, who's a graduate senior, you know, is a great leader. I mean, he teaches all of the young guys, especially Krishan McCray, who is a very young player learning to grow up here and mature.
Good to see him back on the field, too, after we saw him hit the medical tent after their last possession. Thomas strung out, trying to hit the boundary on the left side. Maybe a gain of 1 or 2 on that play. But you're right about Luke Floria. I mean, this is a guy that early in his career was seldom used. Emerges last year as an elite 2nd option to Krishan McCray. And now today has a career high 104 yards receiving.
Yeah, he's having a monster day. Last year had that big game against BG. Pitt's like, secondary's thinking, man, Kent State's got some dudes. They're thinking ahead. You know, they've got obviously a tough schedule here in the ACC.
The third quarter.
But this is a nice challenge for the secondary, as we'll see if Kent State can get back in it. 42-24.
This week's college football rankings are brought to you by Allstate. #1 Georgia up big on #14 Clemson. Penn State up 20-6 in West Virginia, currently in a weather delay. Will be interesting to see how Florida State rebounds this week against Boston College after the upset loss to in-conference foe Georgia Tech. It'll be interesting to see how this fourth quarter unfolds. Kent State has just managed to hang around on a short game by Kai Thomas, the transfer from Kansas, who began his career with Kenny Burns at Minnesota. Ran for nearly 900 yards in 2021 under the tutelage of Kenny Burns. And glad to be back playing football after he sat out last year at Kansas.
Well, you've had 11 targets today to Floria on the outside. And it feels like every time they've needed a play, he's come up with a monster play, a 1st down conversion here, none bigger than this.
3rd and 8. Cargman underneath to Thomas. Shaking free, crunched across the 45, but it makes a 4th down call here much more manageable if you're Kenny Burns.
100%. Does just enough to give him an opportunity here to make it a 4th and 3, and frankly, you've got options here.
And I beg your pardon, Kai Thomas last year sat out at Kent State because of the 2-time transfer rule, which has since been wiped away. In the game here at 4th and 3. Ball game on the line for Kent State. They give it to Thomas, and he is stopped short of the sticks, and a turnover on downs. Kyle Lewis, Braylon Lovelace were in there for the Panthers.
just a tough call against that defense. I mean, you're playing basically against like a zero coverage, which is man without safety help, and so you're stacking the box, and you're going to try to run into that on a 4th and 3. I think it's just a really difficult deal for Kent State, as Pitt's going to get a turnover on downs.
Particularly when you've only managed 46 rushing yards in the game. Pitt's rush defense has been exceptional today. And it was a major point of emphasis in the offseason after they were not nearly as good last year.
I think it could be, well, you got a flag in the backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, deepest number 11, 15-yard penalty,
go against Cameron
automatic
Olds,
first down.
roughing the passer, and it moves the chains.
Yeah, you get anything up high, that's an easy call for the officials.
I don't think we can overstate just how impressive Eli Holstein has been today in his first college start.
He really has been. To come out here and put up the numbers he has, and there has been, like, to me, watching this ball game, there's no short leash on Holstein. It seems like he has the entire playbook at his disposal.
Great job there by Holstein to get that out quickly with the defender on his backside, out to Bartholomew. And he moves the chains on a pickup of 10 yards.
I have no clue the NFL prospects for Bartholomew, other than the fact that this guy's a monster. I mean, the coaches were right. I mean, his ability to run after the catch has been off the charts.
He had an opportunity to transfer at the end of last season. There were schools that came knocking.
Well, because he only had 18 catches. And so I can't blame the young man for looking at what things were like last year and saying, okay, I got 1 year left. Like, where's my best opportunity? Well, all of a sudden, Cade Bell comes in and says, best opportunities right here in Pittsburgh.
Holstein is swallowed up. Stephen Daly, who has been the MVP of Kent State's defense, with the sack. The third of the day for the Golden Flashes.
It's just a one-on-one win, right? He's going up against the left tackle, Branson Taylor, 78, and just beats him. And you know, that's a tough play for Branson, because you got, of course, Daly spinning out inside to come around for the sack. And I've been also very impressed with number 6 today.
Behind the sticks on 3rd and long. Holstein almost intercepted by Rocco Nickel. In and out of his hands. And that could have been a house call, because there was nothing but green in front of him.
I played defensive back, so I can't make any jokes here. Not that it's anything to joke about. My point being, that's 2 interceptions that have been dropped by DBs from Kent State. One was in the end zone, and now one right there. Going to force a long field goal attempt. This one will be about 50 yards. Okay.
Saul's longest last year was 47, though he did tell us he hit from 56 in fall camp. This one has plenty of leg, and it splits the uprights from 50 for Ben Sauls. That'll play.
That'll play. A little bit of a tailwind there, but I don't think it needed a tailwind. This thing's good from like 65 as Pitt extends its lead. 45-24.
You are watching the All-State Saturday kickoff. Beautiful sight on the banks of the confluence of the Monongahela River, the Allegheny River, and the Ohio River here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Almost as pretty as the Pitt offense has looked this afternoon, with 45 points, well above their average of 20 per game a season ago.
Nice segue. I think that it has been so impressive to watch the young freshman quarterback Eli Holstein in his first start. It's just been tremendous.
Well, don't forget, Labor Day weekend on ESPN and ABC rolls on tonight. Sunshine State rivalry game, 3:30 Eastern. number 19 Miami against the Florida Gators. Then it's number 7 Notre Dame at Texas A&M. Sunday, USC and LSU in a top 25 showdown, and it all culminates with Boston College in Tallahassee. A big-time revenge game for Florida State, trying to avenge that early season loss to Georgia Tech. Less than 12 minutes to go here in Pittsburgh. Cardsman is incomplete, intended for Krishan McCray. Regardless of how this game shakes out for Kent State, I think you have to be pleased with their response in the second half, Dustin.
I think so. You know, they've done everything they can, I think, to stay in the game. And really, if they could come up with a couple of those interceptions that are right in the hands of, you know, a safety in a corner, man, I think it's a totally different ballgame. I don't think it is. I mean, one was in the end zone, one's right there. That's 10 points.
And then the targeting call in the first half.
Okay, so there's 17 points.
That ball goes straight into the turf, recovered by Pitt. They're saying it was a fumble, but it's ruled a forward pass and incomplete.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
It was almost like the officials were a little bit unsure. They kind of let it play out, and then they gave like the alligator arm wave incomplete.
3rd down and 10. The Pitt defense has held Kent State to 3 for 12 on 3rd downs this afternoon.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 15. Penalty is a loss of down at the spot of the foul. 3rd down.
Perhaps that's what the hesitation was about.
A little conversation after the play there. Kenny Burns having a little conversation.
So instead of 2nd and long, it is 3rd and forever for Kenny Burns' offense, who has been behind the chains an awful lot this afternoon. Cardsman 13 for 26 today, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Looking for McCray. He had Tamon Lynam in coverage. And you got to punt it here, right, if you're Kenny Burns?
Have to, there's no doubt. Not going to go for it on 4th and 17.
Especially from as deep as they are in their own territory. And the punt block unit is out for the Pitt Panthers. Remember, they blocked 3 punts last year, which tied for the nation lead.
Illegal substitution. Offense. More than 11 players in formation. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
And now Kent State's punter, Josh Smith, will be receiving the snap from his own end zone. This has Rasheem Biles written all over it. Watch out for 31 coming after the punt. Right up the middle. Smith gets it away, and Desmond Reed fair catches it at the 46 after a 41-yard punt. It'll be Eli Holstein and the Pitt Panthers offense when we return.
The Allstate Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. And McDonald's.
Little Rib Fest action outside the stadium for Labor Day weekend.
You hungry?
I could go for a slab of ribs.
I sort of like the way those ribs look. That was making me hungry, partner.
But you haven't eaten yet today.
I have not, and that is making me very, very hungry. But we've got about 11:31.
First time we'll see Nate Yarnell today, who did get a couple of starts last year, 3 of them in fact, went 2-1. Played in 6 games overall. First play from scrimmage is tipped and caught by Sincere Lee.
Exactly how he drew it up.
Well, as we mentioned early in the game, Nate Yarnell and Eli Holstein battled all of fall camp, and the decision to start Eli Holstein was not made until the end of fall camp. Nate Yarnell, of course, was the presumed starter coming out of spring ball, perhaps in large part due to the injury that Eli Holstein sustained to his hamstring. Yarnell flushed and brought down. And you asked Pat Narduzzi, the head coach for Pitt, what's the relationship like between these two guys? You know, you got a redshirt freshman transfer comes in, wins the starting job over a guy who's been here for a few years. And he spoke very highly of Nate Yarnell, saying he couldn't have been better with bringing along the young redshirt freshman.
Pretty sure he crossed his fingers and said they're this tight. You know, they get along very, very well. Obviously, they compete against each other, but you have to support one another when you're in that quarterback room, and that's what they've done.
Oh, watch out. Desmond Reed on the draw. Reed looking for blockers and churns inside the 10. Have a day, Desmond Reed. Over 145 yards rushing in his first game in a Panther uniform.
10 yards a carry is just ridiculous. And then you add on a 78-yard punt return. The dude's got like 211 yards of total all-purpose yards.
Oh, this is going to the corner of the end zone to Poppy Williams. Touchdown, Nate Yarnell. Touchdown, Pitt. I wish you put in a quarterback.
I was just going to say, I wish I had moves like that. This is a great throw by Yarnell coming in cold off the bench. Now it's a little bit easier when your wide receiver's running with a defender like 3 yards behind him, but nonetheless, can you do that?
Best footwork in the country, they say.
What do they call that move? I'm too old now.
Not sure.
You make fun of me. You say that you're 10 years younger than me. What is that dance?
I don't know. I have children. That makes me old. Poppy Williams with the moves. Nate Yarnell with the arm. Eli Holstein, Nate Yarnell, they're both involved in the scoring this afternoon for Pitt.
Drums are on second down again.
The third quarter and then a little bit of the fourth, and then, boy, it's just stalled over the last, I would say, 15 minutes of real time, the offense of Kent State just kind of stuck in the mud, so to speak, and give credit to Pitt's defense.
Last couple of drives, they've had them 3rd and long, pinned deep in their own territory. Pressure off the edge. Cargman will go down. Isaiah Neal and Chief Borders in the backfield for the Panthers.
Defense is just flying around now for Pittsburgh. This is a pretty big pressure by Pitt. You know, 3rd and 16, they're saying we're just going to bring the kitchen sink. Bring everything they can at Kent State, and Cargman, there's nowhere for him to go. He sort of avoided the pressure for just a minute, and then another 3 Panthers corral him.
Oh! Muffed snap, and the Panthers are going to get the football inside the 10, pending this flag that came in late. And Josh Smith got rocked as he was trying to dive on the loose ball.
Did they hit the kicker before the ball was punted?
Personal foul, leaping, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, that'll change things. Kent State will get the football and a fresh set of downs. Wow. End over end goes Keith Thompson. And they whistle him for
leaping. You can't leap over the personal protectors. That's a safety rule.
The foul was on number 38.
Yeah, Keith Thompson, that's a safety rule that they've implemented. It's a huge point of emphasis. And you can see why. I mean, that's a dangerous play. Keith Thompson's lucky to get up off the field and not have some sort of an injury.
First down for Cargman. On the slant route, has his receiver. There goes Deshaun Martin. One man to beat. And Martin wrapped down inside the 10-yard line, and a flag comes in after the tackle by Taman Lineham. Unofficially 64 yards to Deshaun Martin, his first catch of the afternoon. Here's our referee, William Hedgepath.
There are fouls by each team. Personal foul, face mask, offense number 22. Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense. The foul's offset. Repeat the down.
Wow, are you kidding me?
Negating a 64-yard reception, putting Kent State in the red zone.
And the face mask, or excuse me, the horse collar happens here at the end. Got to see the face mask first.
Right there.
Goodness gracious. Something about that offsetting and replay, the down and negating the 66-yard play, just something just feels off.
It doesn't sit right with
it. Doesn't sit right, no. I mean,
what would you prefer?
Well, I'm not Steve Shaw.
You're not wearing the stripes.
No.
Well, Kenny Burns, visibly frustrated, understandably so. It's been hard for his offense to get any real momentum going, save for those 2 early drives at the beginning of the half. Back to 1st and 10 from the 30. And a nice gain by Curtis Douglas for 12.
That's a nice gain there on first down.
Well, Curtis Douglas has become the clear number 2 with Devin Garcia, last year's leading rusher for Kent State, out for the year after a knee injury suffered in fall camp. You'll see a lot of Kai Thomas and a lot of Curtis Douglas if you're a Kent State fan this year. Back to Douglas, this time swallowed up for a loss on the play. Nick James, the Indiana transfer, in the backfield. And this front seven replaced nearly everyone from a season ago. Remember, this is a defense that returned just 2 starters. They have looked awfully good today, Dustin.
Yeah, they have. I will be curious to see how they continue to look throughout the rest of the season. Cincinnati on deck, and then West Virginia in the backyard brawl.
Cargman got slammed to the turf. Ali Fisher makes the catch and gallops ahead for a first down. Cargman is one tough QB.
Lovelace, number 0, just puts his head in like the chest of Cargman. Takes a shot, but I love the toughness. Knowing he's going to take a shot, he feels it coming, and he still delivers the ball for the first down.
We asked Kenny Burns, what's the biggest area of growth you've seen in Kenny Burns? He said his leadership, just the command and the presence. Regardless of how this game ends for Kent State, his teammates have to respect the toughness and leadership he's shown this afternoon. Douglas, again, sifting through the defense for 5 yards.
So somehow they're sort of matriculating their way back to the 66-yard gain that was negated by the offsetting penalty.
Slowly but surely, churning up the clock. Down 52-24. Early in the second half, it was a 1-score game. Credit to the Pitt offense and defense. They got rolling late in the third quarter and have not looked back since. Third and 2. 3 seconds on the play clock for Cargman. And I don't know that he got it off in time. Well, a timeout came in beforehand.
Well, how about our Labor Day weekend? ESPN and ABC college football rolls on today with the Sunshine State rivalry. That's at 3:30 between number 19 Miami and the Gators. Then number 7 Notre Dame takes on number 20 Texas A&M. And tomorrow night from Vegas, 23 USC squares off against number 13 LSU. And of course, we cap it off with Monday night's game. BC is in Tallahassee to take on the Seminoles.
Personally, I don't know about you. Personally, I'm really excited to see Notre Dame at Texas A&M. New quarterbacks.
This is too many.
New coach.
Too many good
Texas
ties
A&M.
there. Riley Leonard.
Yeah.
Is so close. Of course, with Elko, Mike Elko, the new head coach at A&M, who was previously at Duke, of course, and I just think that's going to be so fascinating. I saw him talking this morning on College Game Day about that relationship that they have. There's no bad blood. I mean, it is what it is, and it's going to be a lot of fun to check out that game later on.
And for Notre Dame, an opportunity to get a massive top 20 win on the road as that ball is jarred loose and scooped up. A turnover for Brandon George and the Pitt defense. The 6th-year Mike linebacker taking over the starting role, making plays late in this game.
And there's really nothing Cargman can do. He's trying to step up in the pocket. You've got the pressure coming off the edge, and that's just a great job by Brandon George. Not only does he strip the football, but he's aware and he gets on the ball. And so now another opportunity for Pitt's offense to take a look at.
Third turnover of the day for this Pitt defense. And it gives the ball back to Nate Yarnell. And the 6-year senior running back Daniel Carter in the backfield. And if you're a Pitt Panthers football fan, having witnessed a 3-9 season a year ago, slow offense, not the best offense or defense rather, you have to be elated with what you've seen this afternoon. 3 turnovers on defense, over 500 yards of offense and special teams. Remember that 78-yard touchdown or punt return for a touchdown by Desmond
That's
Reed.
hidden yardage. You obviously you're over 600 with that punt return. So we're looking at Ryan Jacoby down the left guard. I certainly don't want to see a young man injured this late in a game that is pretty much decided.
Particularly after Jacoby missed all of 2023 with an injury he suffered
in the preseason.
In the spring, yep. Described as a road grader by Cade Bell, his offensive coordinator. Good to see him at least walking under his own power, albeit a bit gimpy. And he will head to the pit bench. But Dustin, this is a championship level program. We saw it in 2021, winning the ACC title. And in 2022, followed it up with a 9-win season and a bowl win against UCLA. Yarnell. He was looking for Sincere Lee, knocked loose by Naeem Muhammad. And it brings up 4th and 2. The feeling in the building here in Pittsburgh is that this is the type of team that can return the Panthers to national prominence and compete for an ACC championship.
I look at this offense and I'm not sure that they get it this year, but they're going to compete for it. But I do think down the line, if Eli continues to grow the way that he has throughout fall camp and now in this game, I just think that it's going to be very interesting to see where this offense can go.
Their first of the half. 30 seconds.
Timeout by Pat Narduzzi, which means we get to jump into the foxhole with Dustin Fox.
And I love this segment. We put in the foxhole guys who are tough, physical, and I'll tell you what, Gavin Bartholomew exemplifies all of it. This guy is so good with his yak. Yards after contact today. I mean, he's been phenomenal. He's been absolutely phenomenal. 66 yards receiving on 5 catches. But how about this? Out of the 66 yards, 58 yards after contact.
I need to see that cartoon Dustin Fox again.
Don't be jealous.
Like young,
do you like the hard hat?
Strapping Dustin Fox.
I got to give credit to my boy Brian Custer. It was his idea for that, and we're keeping it rolling.
4th down and 2. Yarnell to pass. He finds the other tight end, Jake Overman, who has plenty for a 1st down, transferring over from Oregon State.
Now, some may say, why did they go for it there? You got to remember, Nate Yarnell is someone who competed for the starting job, and it was won by Eli Holstein, but you may need him at some point. So this is an opportunity to get him into a live scrimmage situation.
Well, that's a great point as that catch is made by Lamar Seymour. You know, last year, this coaching staff didn't feel like they had true starters beyond QB1. This year, they feel like they do have 2 starters in Yarnell and Holstein, and they can win with either.
And it's so crucial that you do have a legitimate backup, because how many quarterbacks play every single game?
Yarnell looking for Seymour again. This time out of his reach.
He had him. He was about a step and a half ahead of the defender down the field. He was matched up against Boma.
And for Nate Yarnell, this is the 3rd different playbook he has had to learn in his 4 years at Pitt.
Now, how difficult is that? You know, you play the most difficult position in arguably all of sports, and then you have 3 different coordinators, all different terminology, so much to learn.
Yarnell keeps it. showing some physicality, lunging ahead for a first down. Not only that, but the offense he ran last year versus the offense he's running this year could not be more different.
Yeah, they go to a spread NFL style of offense.
Yarnell again showing his wheels and is taken down shy of the 20 after a gain of 6. Okay, Nate Yarnell.
I see ya.
Couple of good rushes, getting out of trouble. And that will take us to the final 2-minute timeout of the game. And we will step aside when we return. The conclusion of Pitt and Kent State.
Let's check out today's best moment, brought to you by AT&T 5G. Eli Holstein with some incredible throws today, but none better than these two. To Kenny Johnson, just absolute dimes, dropped in the bucket. That one for a touchdown, and yeah, Eli Holstein's very happy with his performance today, and I think Pitt Panthers fans are as well.
29 for 39, 323 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the lone interception in his first collegiate game, starting or otherwise. Yarnell thrown to the ground, flutters it out near the goal line and incomplete. Kanan Williams on the pressure. Che Wabuko in the backfield with Nate Yarnell, sliding over from wide receiver to running back this year, given how crowded the wide receiver room is. Getting some run late after an epic performance by Desmond Reed. Here's Yarnell going end zone and out of the reach of Sincere Lee. And we will see Ben Sauls again, who has already hit from 50 this afternoon. First time that Pitt has scored 50 or more points since November of 2021 against Duke. Their quarterback was Kenny Pickett.
I'm sensing a trend.
What's that?
That they haven't had good quarterback play in quite some time since Kenny Pickett played.
Well, certainly not consistent, right? Keaton Slovis was a terrific quarterback, dealt with injuries. And then last year, they had 3 separate quarterbacks start at least one game. But seemingly they have found QB1 in Eli Holstein, who today became the 6th quarterback to start in the 26 games since Kenny Pickett left for the NFL in 2021.
And look at all the transfers that have come in here and just have not worked out. And so you can understand why there was some hesitation when Eli Holstein arrives on campus, because none of the other transfers had really panned out, right? And so that's, like I said earlier, it's a difficult deal now in college football where you've got guys that can just kind of bounce around a little bit, especially at the most important position, quarterback. It's not just playing the position or learning it. It's more about being able to engage your teammates, have that leadership role, and for them to be able to trust you. That is tough to happen in like 3 months or whatever it is when the guys get on campus to training camp. And, you know, for Eli, it's a little bit of a different situation because he's got 4 years to play. And so I think it's an opportunity for him to continue to play well early. And then, assuming he does, everybody's bought into this guy for the next several seasons.
Which is rare now in this era of college football. By the way, tonight's SEC college football games on ESPN Plus and SEC Network Plus feature a triple header. Eastern Kentucky at Mississippi State, Furman at Ole Miss, and rounding it out, Alabama A&M at Auburn. Download the ESPN app or go to espnplus.com/schedule to watch. And what a week 2 on ACC Network football. Georgia Tech and Syracuse, Charlotte at North Carolina, and the nightcap, Appalachian State in Death Valley at 8 p.m. All 3 games available also on the ESPN app. Tommy Ulatowski now the quarterback for Kent State.
I think at this point, if you're Kent State, you look at the clock and you say, okay, I'm happy that were mostly healthy coming out of this game.
Yeah.
You know, that's the tough deal when you're a group of 5 playing a power 4. You've got all the starters are somewhat comparable, I believe. It's the depth that comes into play in these games, and so if you can get out of them healthy, I think it's very valuable. And that's where Kent's at now, is they look at the rest of the season. St. Francis on deck, but then they got to go down to Knoxville, and that is Knoxville and then Happy Valley. How about? I mean, it's just
a gauntlet of a schedule
in
September.
Absolute gauntlet before you begin MAC play, September 28th, home against Eastern Michigan. Take a peek at the next 5 games.
Well, and this is sort of life in the group of 5, right? Because you're looking for those P4 games, which will inject your program with some extra money. Also an opportunity for your team to potentially pick up a win that could be huge when the college football playoff seeding comes around, now that a group of 5 team has an automatic bid. Kenny Burns' team, though, has 2 currently top 25 road games on deck at Neyland Stadium, at Happy Valley. And then you look at the Pitt Panthers, who will pick up their first win of 2024 and will look ahead to Cincinnati, a noon kickoff on Saturday, September 7th. First test against another P4 team, but what a win in year 10 of the Pat Narduzzi era. 55 points, most points scored since November of 2021. And what a start in the Cade Bell era, coming over from Western Carolina. At least week 1, his FCS offense is translating to the FBS level.
You know who's going to sleep good tonight after they get some good Italian food? Pat Narduzzi.
Final score, Pitt 55, Kent State 24 for our entire crew. Dustin Fox, I'm Matt Schumacher saying so long from Pittsburgh.